I did.
Did you look at the parts of your car and go, I wonder what that does?
Uh-huh.
There you go.
Uh-huh.
That's what I've always
But
said.
that's the great thing about Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville and their service team. They explain all of this to you. Like, you're not just staring at pieces of metal. They go, hey, this is your tailpipe, and look, it has no cracks. It has no. Yeah, they show you all that stuff. You don't have to know about cars to enjoy the updates that you get when your car is in service at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville. And Jeremy, you got a new loaner?
Yes, I am in a brand new, fully loaded Rogue that is, it's quite sporty, and it fits into any parking spot known to man. I am dumbfounded by how easily this car turns. Cowboy John Roten and I we were at the check presentation with Ingles Supermarkets today with Manna Food Bank, and there were a lot of people there. And I found one little spot, and I went, bet you I can get in there. Cowboy went, I don't think you can. Yeah, just watch me.
Yeah,
and sure enough, I did.
Be sure to mention the Sportsocracy when you go over to Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville. If you're in the market for a new car or a certified pre-owned, mention the Sportsocracy. They'll give you $250 on top of whatever your trade-in is worth. Divisional round of the playoffs. You got the Jacksonville Jaguars going up against the Kansas City Chiefs, trying to keep the Kansas City Chiefs out of their, what will this be, fifth straight AFC championship game? Fourth straight AFC championship game.
No, you might have been right.
I think I'm right. I think they've already been to four straight.
Wow. Man, that's a good team.
Mm-hmm. Jacksonville Jaguars, always got to be afraid of a team that's got nothing to lose. Speaking of teams with nothing to lose, New York Giants, Philadelphia Eagles. It's going to be a fun one. And you got, of course, the Cincinnati Bengals going on the road to take on the Buffalo Bills. He's not going to do it.
I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it when we talk about that game.
The Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers cap off the divisional round action at 6:30 on Sunday at Levi Stadium. So, divisional round of the playoffs is here. And, man, here's the thing. Does any of these teams really surprise you that they're here? Other than
Jacksonville.
The
New York Giants. They both surprised me that they're here. They would have surprised me a week ago. The Giants more than the Jaguars. Actually, I picked them both. So
I was going to say.
They really didn't surprise me that much.
I was going to say, when you found out they were playing, that the Giants were playing the Minnesota Vikings, we all kind of went, there's a pretty decent chance. It's a pretty decent chance they're going to be playing in the next round. Yeah, I mean, obviously, at the beginning of the season, we thought the Giants and the Jaguars would be, 5-win teams at best? And somehow, here they are. Trevor Lawrence making the turn. Brian Daboll, give it to somebody's Meemaw. Coach of the year.
The question is, look, we've already seen this game once. Jacksonville's already played in Kansas City once this year. And they were down 20-0 in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yes, the final score was 27-17, but it was never that close. This game was never in doubt. And I'm looking at this. When I see things like that, I want to see, did Kansas City or Jacksonville do anything that is non-replicable? And the biggest thing I'm looking at, Jacksonville didn't run. They had 16 rushing attempts in the entire game. You're going to have to be more balanced than that. This Chiefs defense is not all that good. But if they know you're passing and they can pin their ears back after Trevor Lawrence, they will kill you.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to pick an X factor for every game, and mine, without a shadow of a doubt, is Travis Etienne. Kansas City can win 11 ways. You could have a huge game from Pat Mahomes. You could have a good big a meltdown from Trevor Lawrence. To me, there's one way for Jacksonville to win this game. Keep the ball away from Pat Mahomes.
Doug Peterson comes with a game plan of just bleeding clock.
Well, you not necessarily bleeding clock, but you have to be able to control the narrative. If Kansas City gets out to a 14-0 lead, this game's over. You're not. You get down like you did last week. In the message, repeat the line. There will be no Herculean comeback from 27-0 down. You'll probably end up getting beat 55-0. So this is one of those games that I feel like if I knew the stat line on Travis Etienne, I can tell you vaguely how this goes. Because to me, he needs to be in that 18 to 20 to 22 touch range. Probably needs to have somewhere in the neighborhood of 100 yards.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to take some of the pressure off Trevor Lawrence. If you don't do that, they will annihilate you.
Yeah. Well, in the last month, Travis Etienne, obviously the Jacksonville Jaguars won quite a few games in that stretch. And in that stretch, he's averaging 16 carries a game, 125 yards, and a touchdown. Plus 50 yards receiving and 5 catches a game. He is a focal point of this offense. It has to be a focal point of the offense.
And look, in the last one, Kansas City turned it over 3 times, and you still got annihilated. That's a bad sign. Because that means they did not play particularly well. I mean, Pat Mahomes did. Other than that, there was nothing special.
Mm-hmm.
They just physically manhandled you. Now, what you said earlier about Jacksonville has nothing to lose, that means you can throw everything but the kitchen sink. And one thing I have noticed about Kansas City, they chase a lot. So you break out one of those old Dougie Doug specials with the Philly. You never know. It might work. This might be one of those times that works. But I think you're going to have to do a lot of that.
Okay. I'm thinking X factors for this game, and I don't believe that the Jacksonville Jaguars will come up with a miracle in this one. I can fully well see the path that you just explained. Kansas City gets up by 14, and then it's never close from there on. I'm not completely ruling out a comeback because the defense is suspect. So I think my X factor for the game is not just one player. It's the secondary of the Kansas City Chiefs.
See, to me, the X factor can't be anybody for Kansas City.
Why?
Because there's probably 9 players that I could say, they have a good game. Okay, Kansas City wins. If Isaiah Pacheco has a game like I just said from Travis Etienne, Jacksonville's going to lose.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be able to bottle him up, make them one-dimensional, take the pounding with Pat Mahomes, because that's going to happen one way or the other. I don't physically see a path that he has less than 280 yards in this game. By the way, we'll be giving you some fun prop bets in the next segment. I'll tell you what Pat Mahomes' line is and why it's probably the easiest money you'll ever make in your life.
Okay, all right. And so there just can't be a Kansas City X factor for you.
How in the world – okay, so let me ask this a different way. How many players could you see being good for Kansas City in this game? The reason they win. Mahomes, Travis Kelce,
mm-hmm.
Juju Smith-Schuster,
Mm-hmm.
Marquez Valdez-Scantling with no Mecole Hardman, Isaiah Pacheco, Jerick McKinnon. That's 6. Tell me how many there are for Jacksonville. Because I got to 2 and went, okay, end the message, repeat the line.
So you got the Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne.
Nope, Trevor Lawrence isn't 1. You're not going to out-duel Pat Mahomes. Sorry about your luck. That's not coming. Hey, could you do it a year from now, 2 years from now? Maybe. It ain't happening this week. There was one player that Kansas City struggled with mightily in the first game. It's Christian Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
They've struggled out of the slot all year long. So to me, one of those two has to do something just superhuman. If you're looking at our YouTube chat right now, it's all Kansas City just scatters, smothers, and covers Jacksonville. I don't know that I'm going that route.
I'm not.
I think it probably looks more like the first game. 27-17, 28-24. I think they'll stay in this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't envision them getting down 4 scores again. But when push comes to shove, you get Pat Mahomes. I get a kid that just had to have a absolutely nothing to lose second half against the Chargers to look like the quarterback he had been for the second half of the season.
Right.
Hard for me to believe he's going to do that in the cold in Kansas City on the road in his first ever divisional playoff game.
Look, are the Chiefs talented enough to blow the doors off of the Jacksonville Jaguars? Yes. The problem is they don't do that a lot. You go back and look at the games that they played this year, they haven't really demolished many teams. I mean, yes, there was the San Francisco game that was never close. But this is a team that always, more often than not, tends to play with their competition. They're like a cat. They're like a cat that just kind of plays with its food before they devour it. Now, eventually, you're going to get devoured. But it just depends on how long they let you hang around.
Well, they won 2 of their last 3 by more than 2 touchdowns. So I'm not necessarily sure that I'm – and one of those was against the team that made the playoffs. So
And that team was?
Seattle Seahawks.
Exactly.
I don't know that there's a huge difference between Seattle and Jacksonville right now. And defensively, they're practically the exact same team.
Mm-hmm.
Offensively, I get DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett and Kenny Walker. Not sure that that's not better than anything you can throw my way.
The quarterback's better.
He is. Look at Jacksonville over the course of the year. They haven't been particularly good on the road.
It's a young team still trying to learn how to win. That's why they're a massive underdog.
Not as much as I would have thought. When I saw this number debut, I thought, oh, good gracious, that's going to balloon. And then it didn't.
You would have thought it would be a double-digit spread.
I had 12.5.
Yeah.
I mean, fun story. 73% of the money's on Jacksonville.
Mm-hmm.
That seems aggressive to me. I'm not sure that I can get there. You'll have to stick around. Later in the show, we'll all tell you where we're going with picks this week.
You are in the Sportsocracy, and it's ESPN Asheville on a football Friday.
Did you know Ingles only sells USDA Choice and Prime cuts of meat? Maybe it's time to reward yourself. Our butchers cut all our meat fresh in the store every day. Grass-fed, organic, you name it. Not only that, we'll even cut it to order just the way you like it. And we grind meat fresh in the store multiple times a day. It's all in the bag. That's the best meat in town for the best folks in town. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Zack with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
I never write reviews, but Navage is so amazing, I had to leave one. Nothing's ever cleared out my sinuses as well. I'm blown away by how Navage works. That's a review from Carrie, and it's one of over 100,000 online testimonials praising Navage. I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I've talked about flushing out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs. How Navage's powered suction can help you breathe better, and how your nose is the body's air filter, and Navage will clean it out. But don't take my word for it. What do people like Chad say, who wrote, Navage has helped clear out my nasal passages every single night. My wife says my snoring has gone way down. Snorefest be gone, unquote. Navage is the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million customers to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Clean nose, healthy life.
Hey, this is Peter Schrager from the NFL Network's morning show, Good Morning Football. You've also seen me on NFL Sidelines and in studio for Fox Sports on Sunday. Well, I've got a new podcast with iHeart in the NFL, and we're calling it The Season with Peter Schrager. In each episode of this season, I'm going to empty my proverbial notebook and take you inside and behind the scenes on the conversations that happen at the highest levels of NFL franchises. Listen to The Season with Peter Schrager on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcast.
It's time to roll out the red carpet for, well, new carpet. Right now at the Home Depot. Choose from hundreds of styles and colors from top brands. Plus, get free installation. So whether you want to brighten up your bedroom, add a little more cushion to your living room, or yes, add some VIP flair to your hallway, you can get the perfect carpet to match your mood with free installation from the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Minimum purchase of $4.99. Exclusions apply. U.S. only. See store for details.
The Sportsocracy.
That is some good, clean family fun there, eh, Kai?
First game of the divisional playoff round tomorrow afternoon at 4:30 in Kansas City. The Chiefs are a 9-point favorite over the Jacksonville Jaguars.
This is also the highest over-under of the weekend.
Okay. 52.5.
I was reasonably surprised by that. Higher than Buffalo, Cincinnati?
Yeah.
Really?
That seems off.
That seems high.
But think about it. Think about the two paths that this game can go down, because I think there are only two. One, it's a straight-up shootout, Justin Herbert, Pat Mahomes style, that we've seen over and over and over again in the last few years when the Chargers play the Chiefs. Or it's going to be like you said, 52-17, and it's Kansas City just in a blowout. I don't really see the 24-10 hard-fought victory. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, if last week's picks from me were any window, you should know.
Don't worry, you and Chief are tied.
The last 4 weeks of picking NFL games, I've just gone full brain fart.
We could literally have put 2 bowls of food on opposite sides of a Labrador and seen which one he went to, and I think he would have been more accurate than you.
Absolutely. So take that for what it's worth. But
we only had 6 games, it's kind of telling that I have a 3-game lead in the postseason. I can actually lock up the postseason this week.
Yes.
With 2 rounds to go.
Mm-hmm.
I told Chief Zack that earlier today. He was not amused.
No, because screw you.
Haters gonna hate.
Yeah.
Hate.
Yeah. But do you agree with me? Do you see this being a scrappy battle?
Not really, because I don't believe either defense can continuously stop the other.
Mm-hmm.
Look, Jacksonville's a different team than they were when Kansas City played them the first time. I would argue that there is some discrepancy with Kansas City from the first time they played, and I don't know which one's improved more. Jacksonville had a drastic deficit the first time they played. And now I'm just looking at this going, okay, so what is the path? If Jacksonville can sustain drives, keep the ball out of Mahomes' hands, maybe possess the ball 34, 35, 36 minutes, you got a shot, but I still feel like you're going to need that late score, and I'm not sure you can do it. Kansas City, when they know you're passing, they have a lot of options for guys that can get after your quarterback. And, I mean, just think about how many times you saw Khalil Mack hit Trevor Lawrence last week. And a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Then Mr. Bosa goes down his wild ride of incensed at the officials, and things start to change. I mean, for me, most likely it's either a track meet or it looks similar to the last time.
Yeah. Okay.
But, as I told you, we got a few little prop wagers that could make you some money this week.
Okay.
Set Trevor Lawrence's total passing yards. I laughed until it hurt.
280.
You're 30 too high. It's 251.5.
Over.
I will hammer the over. And I don't care what the final score is. It doesn't matter to me. If they're close, it will be because he throws for a lot of yards. If they get slaughtered, he starts throwing more, and then it's going to be a lot of yards. Travis Etienne total yards.
Total yards?
Total rushing yards.
Total rushing yards.
I mean, the total is only 19.5 higher than what I'm getting ready to say.
75.
70.5. If you think Jacksonville keeps this close, go over. If you think it's a blowout, go under.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think I'd go the over on that.
I will too, but it's not as convincing as the first one. Christian Kirk's receiving yard 66.5. That has to be over because that is one place you can attack Kansas City is in the slot. And then Pat Mahomes' total passing yards, 315.5, which might be the highest number I've ever seen, and I will still annihilate the over.
Absolutely.
I don't know that you could have set that number too high for me. If it was 337, I think I'd still be looking at it going, why do I want to take the over? I know I probably shouldn't, but I'm going to.
And what was it?
315.5.
315.5.
Our first one of these of the day from Gage Camplin. Said he can't see the game being close, 37-20. Wouldn't shock me. Nothing about that would shock me.
Yep.
Late touchdown, like 30-20 going into Trevor turns it over. Kansas City throws on the cherry on top. Wouldn't be surprising.
Okay.
To me, this is the least interesting of the 4 games all weekend.
Well, going in,
I did Adam Gold's show before our program came on, and he asked me and the other member of the roundtable, which team can you see being the upset? He didn't include Jacksonville. He asked about the 3 other dogs, which I laughed at with, I see what you did there, and I don't disagree with you.
Right. Going in, this seems like the most surefire thing. Any path you go down, it should be the Kansas City Chiefs. But that's also a hell of a tool for Doug Peterson to use. Nobody expects us to win this game. Let's go out. Let's have some fun. Let's be responsible with the football, and let's see what happens. Kansas City is not infallible. They can be beaten. I mean, that's your pregame speech of, we can do this. Now let's go do it. But in the end, I think, the small fish gets eaten.
All right, and that's the end of the talk about that game. Sorry, it's the least interesting of the 4. But arguably the most interesting of the 4 is the other game on Saturday, which we'll talk about momentarily.
Absolutely. 8:15 start on Saturday night, New York Giants and the Philadelphia Eagles. But first, let's get just a bit outside.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
All right, here's another one of those NFL points of emphasis stories. The NFL is cracking down again on something that really doesn't matter. To me, doesn't give anybody any type of an advantage on the football field. But they're really irked that you're not supposed to be spotting the ball or spotting the spot for the ball when you're holding on a field goal. So we had the story of,
there's a weird device on the field.
Like the Las Vegas Raiders putting the ball on a tee or whatever to try to lift the ball out of the grass a little bit and get a little more. So we had that crackdown, remember?
And I have an update on that story.
Okay.
That's not what it was.
What was it?
It was a mark. Brady Quinn went into elaborate detail about this. So they're not spotting the ball on the spot. So the kicker I never kicked. So I'll just be really honest with you. I don't know a whole lot about kickers. It's a Pat McAfee thing, not me. So they're taking this little plastic piece, and that's what the kicker's focusing on, and they're getting the ball as close to that as humanly possible. Not to prop it up, but to give them the spot where the ball is going to be.
The first story was that, yes, they were using some tee or something.
That's what they thought.
Okay.
Brady Quinn debunked that of, A, it's hard enough to get that ball on the ground, period. B, if you think you're going to put it on a tee, you're out of your mind.
Well, now there have been 2 teams that are left in these playoffs that have been warned about doing what Jeremy's describing.
Philadelphia's one.
Using something to spot where the ball should be. Because last week, Dallas Cowboys officials got onto the Dallas Cowboys because Brian Anger, who is the holder for the kicker, who was awful last week, he likes to pull a piece of grass and put the piece of grass or turf or whatever.
Which apparently every holder does.
Yes,
and that's really nitpicking.
Like, here's the blade of grass that I need to aim for when I'm putting the ball down. Technically, that's illegal in the rule book of the NFL. And so the officials got on to Brian Anger about it last week. They have now warned the Philadelphia Eagles as well because their holder does the same thing. And to be frank, every team does this. Everybody has been doing it. But for some reason, the league's got it stuck in their minds like this is a problem.
Because they started using foreign objects. Because here's the thing. What you just said is not illegal. You can't use it.
According to the officials, it is.
Well, they're wrong.
Grass is wrong.
They're wrong. They need to take it up with their own rule book because it's a foreign object. That is what it says in the rules. You cannot use a foreign object to mark the ball. All right? If you go down every other rule where they say foreign object, nothing that comes on the field or on your body is considered a foreign object. The towel, in theory, is not a foreign object because it's on your body. I'm just telling you what the NFL punter said. Mm-hmm. I'm just relaying the information.
Okay. But the Cowboys and the Eagles have both been warned, and if they do this, there's gonna be trouble. There is no penalty. I mean, maybe a fine if you keep doing it after we crack down on it.
Yeah. Hey, officials, maybe worry about calling holds and less about, well, there's a blade to collect grass that tells you where to put the ball.
Right.
Yeah, we've been doing this for a long time, okay? It's been a weird 24 hours to be a fan of the New York Jets, Jets.
Has it?
3 AP stories have come out in the last 24 hours. One of them was that Elijah Moore got into a screaming match with now former offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur and told him to go canoodle himself and that he sucked repeatedly. That's a weird story to come out right now, don't you think? Then you add that to the fact The Athletic just put out a story that said New York Jet players, quote unquote, rejoiced when Zach Wilson was demoted. And there was grumbling in the locker room when they turned back to Wilson after Mike White had come in. Then you add that to the most famous Jet of all time, who came out today and said he is willing to unretire his number 12 for Aaron Rodgers.
Good for Broadway Joe.
Well, I mean, he's the one that put the curse on us because he made the deal with the devil in 1969 to get the one Super Bowl. So, I mean, yes, good for Joe. Thank you, Joe, for giving us the greatest moment ever. But the last 52 years, okay, I'm looking right at you. And all of these things together, what's that phrase I say all the time?
Who wants you to know?
Who wants you to know that? Why did this randomly all come out this week? Say the same thing I said the other day when we were talking about this. You got Woody Johnson saying he's willing to pay for the quarterback. Aaron Rodgers saying he's willing to, that he can be an MVP in the right scenario. Then you get all these stories out of New York. I want you to know that. The most powerful media in the world. And I'll guarantee you that there is somebody in that locker room that is force-feeding this to a media member. Because they are looking around going, with Aaron Rodgers, we're a Super Bowl contender.
Mm-hmm.
Could be Woody Johnson, could be Joe Douglas, frankly, could be me. Somebody in Greene wants you to know all of these things, and I'm getting more and more sure that Aaron Rodgers is actually the next quarterback of the New York Jets.
Question is, what's the price going to be?
I don't care.
You don't care.
I'm officially to the point, I don't care.
See, thank you. Now you finally come across to my side. It does not matter as long as you get to hold that trophy.
I do. Well, no, you made a deal with the devil, okay? You did the Joe Namath thing with Tom Brady. I don't want to do that. And now that's easy to say because he's Shady Acres.
Oh, you're doing that.
Oh, no, Aaron Rodgers is not the devil.
Stop.
No. Aaron Rodgers. There is not one person on this planet that hates Aaron Rodgers.
I'm going to 100% disagree with that. Kevin Vick, are you in the comments? Because he hates Aaron Rodgers.
All right. I almost want to play a game. So we just built a new merch store. Lovely Patrick Holt just got his new Sportsocracy hoodie. Said it's very high quality, very breathable fabric, all the things. I want to put 2 designs in that merch store. One of them says, I hate Tom Brady. One of them says, I hate Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
One of those will sell a lot, maybe to me. The other will sell a few.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's not the hatred with Aaron Rodgers that there is with Tom Brady. There's not the hatred with anybody compared to Tom Brady.
I mean, I get it. He's
Yeah,
the
you
GOAT,
made your
and
bet.
everybody hates him.
Yeah, we want Captain Ayahuasca. Bring him on down. We'll give him all the boiling water he wants for his ayahuasca tea.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your Extreme Temporal Scale weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Next weather maker pulls into the Carolinas up from the Gulf of Mexico, bringing some half-inch rains to the late weekend forecast ahead. Our temps tonight down in the mid-20s. Those northwest winds make it feel like January is back. Partly cloudy Saturday, high 52, low 35. Half-inch rain Sunday, cool high 43. Low Sunday night down to 32 with some light wintry weather in the mountains. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by KFC. All comfort, only $5. For a limited time, get KFC's pot pie for just $5. Made with tender chicken, delicious veggies, savory sauce, and topped with a flaky crust. Only at KFC. That's finger licking good.
Hi, I'm Emmitt Smith, Pro Football Hall of Famer and 3-time champion. Trust me, I know about joint pain.
Pro Football's all-time leading rusher Emmitt Smith talks about chronic joint pain and exciting new regenerative treatments from QC Kinetics.
I know what it's like to fight through pain, but now, you and I, we have help. QC Kinetics.
QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in advanced, all-natural regenerative medicine that can give you lasting relief with no drugs, no downtime, and no surgery. Do you suffer with constant pain from arthritis or injury? Pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or lower back? Don't assume steroids, pain meds, and surgery are your only options. Regenerative, restorative, natural solutions are now available.
Don't let your joint pain keep you from doing the things you love.
Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation and learn how regenerative medicine can repair and restore damaged joint tissue.
Make the call to QC Kinetics. Tell them Emmitt Smith sent you.
Call QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517.
No one has the same taste as you.
You damn right.
From the music you love to the podcasts you can't live without. And only the iHeartRadio app has it all for free. Download the free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Zack with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelly Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
The Sportsocracy.
You were just dumber than a bag of hammers.
And welcome back into the Sportsocracy. It's ESPN Asheville. Check us out at the Sportsocracy.com YouTube channel. That link is right in the middle of the page. Follow it, subscribe, and get into the chat with us. Divisional round of the playoffs this weekend. You get the New York Giants and the Philadelphia Eagles kicking off at 8:15 tomorrow night on Fox. So all kinds of questions about the health of Jalen Hurts. Is he good to go? Is he going to be the pseudo MVP caliber quarterback that he's been all season long and would be most years had Patrick Mahomes not done Patrick Mahomes things this year?
I don't know. I feel like Philadelphia is the great unknown. Here's what I can tell you. These two teams played twice. Philadelphia absolutely annihilated the Giants in New York. You know what else they did that I don't envision happening again?
What's that?
They ran for a bajillion yards. Had 253 yards rushing. They averaged 8 yards a carry. That's not going to happen.
Really?
That's not going to happen. Of all the things that could possibly transpire in this game, that is one that I will tell you is not happening again. I feel like the Giants are the underdog in this weekend that has the best chance to win. And I don't know if that is just a complete non-belief in Jalen Hurts, or if it's I'm doing the same thing I did last week. What is the one thing that cannot happen and Philadelphia win this game?
Saquon goes nanners.
You cannot neutralize Jalen Hurts.
Oh.
I'm looking at Adoree Jackson, who just did a whale of a job on Justin Jefferson. And I know A.J. Brown's bigger. I know he's more physical. I get it. I was the one saying Adoree was the X factor last week, and everybody called me out of my mind. I'm not sure that he's not again this week. And you just look at A.J. Brown and go, he's not the one that's doing it to us. If you want to try to do this with Miles Sanders, more power to you. It's not going to be this little dump it off to A.J. Brown and let him, as one of the most explosive players in the NFL, beat us. On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you in Philly this week? Winning, not covering. We're not talking about the spread, talking about who.
Winning, solid 8.
I can't get above a 3.
Wow. That's surprising to me. Look, I get the Giants have been a fun story and everything, but in the end, Philadelphia is the better team. Bar none, right? You don't think so?
Not the way you said that. They're the better roster. They're without a doubt the better roster. I don't know that they're the better team, because there is one thing that I know I have with the New York Giants that is a complete wild card for Philadelphia. It's Nick Sirianni. Look, I know that all of you have fallen into the, well, he could be coach of the year. Really, let's be honest about that schedule, okay? You beat a lot of Washington, Arizona, Pittsburgh, Houston, Indianapolis.
New York Giants. I mean, you can't discount that.
No, I can, because that Giants team is different today than they were a month ago. They just are. And Jalen Hurts did not look good in that last game. And my biggest fear with Philadelphia, what have we banged on Nick Sirianni for 2 years over? There are times that he just inexplicably gets away from the run. So I've got Nick Sirianni that I don't believe in at all. Could he prove me wrong? Sure. I don't believe in him in the least. And he's going up against Brian Daboll and Wink Martindale, who are two NFL lifers, minus the 2 years Daboll spent in Alabama. If I'm Martindale going into this game, I'm going to make Jalen Hurts beat me. I don't care if that means I put 7 in the box. I put all of the onus on Adoree Jackson. Maybe I throw a safety over the top. My objective in this first quarter is to make Nick Sirianni do that thing he does so often, and that's completely abandon the run game. And if I do that, and I'm here to tell you, don't be shocked if they do, I would say I would give the advantage to the Giants.
Well, that's great. So they focus on A.J. Brown. Okay, but what about Devontae Smith?
You're missing my point. I'm not telling you that the Giants roster is better. I'm psychologically looking at this game going, there is one huge hole in Philadelphia. If I get you to abandon the run game, I don't care about Devontae Smith.
You should.
I want to make Jalen Hurts beat me. If I know he's throwing the ball, just look back across the year. If you want a really good example of this, go back to the Washington game where they got up, run game goes away, and I know what you're doing. It's the worst game Jalen Hurts had all year, and it wasn't close. Was not even kind of close. Dallas Cowboys, same thing. Now, that was with Gardner Minshew. Well aware of that. When I can make you one-dimensional, this team is so much easier to defend.
Mm-hmm.
In spite of how good Devontae Smith is, in spite of how good A.J. Brown is. I want to steer into that one thing that you do so often. Now, could they come out and run it down the Giants' throats? Sure. But that's a total tendency breaker with Nick Sirianni.
Mm-hmm. I mean, but they've already done it. Like you mentioned in the first game, they already ran the ball.
Which was over a month ago.
I get it.
Against a very beaten-up defense that, if I'm not mistaken, didn't have Leonard Williams. I'm reasonably sure Leonard Williams didn't play in that game.
Okay. The Giants aren't a good team against the run, right? They're not a run stuffer.
Looked pretty
defense.
good last week to me. Looked pretty good to me last week.
Yeah, but I mean that was also
what?
That was
a
also
coach
Minnesota.
that tends to get away from the running game? Oh, weird. That's exactly what I'm saying. Kevin O'Connell and Nick Sirianni, to me, are the same guy.
Okay.
They're the same guy. They're inexperienced play callers, and I've watched you fall into this trap before. I get a vet defensive coordinator, and I guarantee you he's been preaching the exact same thing I just said.
Mm-hmm.
And what tells me that? He did it last week. And if you remember, I said the exact same thing last week. You get away from Dalvin Cook, you put all this on Kirk Cousins, you're going to lose.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of feel the same way this time.
Okay. All right. I mean, we shall see. It just, to me, it would be a departure from what they've been doing to have success all season long in running the football for them to abandon it now.
He's done that. He's done this 4 times this year.
Especially with Jalen Hurts ailing. It's hard for me to believe that they'll do that.
Okay.
And also,
I've screamed this about Nick Sirianni for 2 solid years.
Mm-hmm.
And I told you this last week when you went 2-4 picking games. When you feel like you know everything that's going to happen, something's going to poo in your punch bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Giants did it last week. I'm not sure they don't do it this week. We thought this was a collision course. Eagles and the 49ers, Bills and the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see any way the Chiefs lose. I don't see any way the Bills lose. The cover is a different story. I don't really see a way the 49ers lose. And maybe I'm being conspiracy theory guy, and maybe I'm being gambler guy. We're putting a lot of stock into a quarterback that in 1 year has completely changed the narrative.
Yes.
We don't do that. You and I have said this for years. You're not going to impress me in 14 games to overlook everything you've done for 5 years. Jalen Hurts is still the same quarterback that he was 2 years ago. Fact or fiction?
I say fiction.
Okay, name me another quarterback that you have ever seen do that.
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen was always this guy. He had nothing around him. The offensive line was awful, and guess what? He still turns the ball over all the time. It's just now I have Stephon Diggs and Gabriel Davis, and oh yeah, by the way, I have the strongest arm in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Hurts was a bad thrower of the football. Period. You can be as fly Eagles fly as you want to. He was a bad thrower of the football. Now you're telling me in a playoff game where all the pressure's on you. Because I got news for you. If Philadelphia gets down in this game, don't be shocked when the crowd starts booing, because that's the most Philly thing I've ever seen in my life. This sets up for a trap. Could Philadelphia win it going away? Absolutely. It's a very good roster.
Mm-hmm.
We have 2 of these in the YouTube chat. And the first one, they're both from Gage Campo, but I'll hit one now and one after the break. Well, buttons.
Not working.
No buttons. He's our Huckleberry. Said you're missing the Eagles pass rush with 70 sacks. No, I'm not. I don't care. Because if you think Daniel Jones is going to come out and throw more than 25 times in this game, I got a bridge to sell you. There's this misnomer that Philadelphia is so good against the run. No, they're not. No, they're not. Did it improve a little bit with Ndamukong Suh and Jordan Davis playing more snaps? Yeah, it got a little better. I've still seen teams run on you, and I won't be shocked if I see it again here. It's not the Giants' offense that I'm worried about. It's the Philadelphia offense that I'm worried about. With a mad scientist who's been here a billion times before. With a quarterback that I don't feel like that hard to stop. Call me a conspiracy theorist if you want to.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. What are the best props for this game? We'll talk about it up next with Flostradamus. 90 pounds in 1 year. It can be done. And you ask me how? PhD weight loss. Go to myphdweightloss.com today. If you've been struggling your entire life with a weight problem, PhD Weight Loss has the plan to help you reverse the symptoms of type 2 diabetes and sleep apnea, all of that. Jeremy, you've been through that. You had sleep apnea like crazy before PhD.
I did. My heaviness had led to some health problems. And a lot of it was because I just made bad food choices. And that is what I learned from the PhD weight loss program, which has gotten me back to my high school weight. The sleep apnea is gone, and it's all thanks to PhD weight loss.
I had long struggled and been labeled morbidly obese. Now, I'm not by any means a skinny fit person now, but being 200 pounds is much better than being 300, 350. I was pushing the scales at getting close to 4 bills at one point in my life. Now I know how to live thanks to Dr. Ashley Lucas and the plan at PhD Weight Loss. Go to myphdweightloss.com.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
Hello there. My name is Seychelle, and what makes the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich original to me is the punch of flavors that's unlike any other. You get the crispy tenderness of the chicken and that hint of sourness from the pickles. Ta-da!
Hey, I'm Juan, and what makes the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich original to me is you're going to get chicken that's crispy, golden, and juicy. This is the gold standard of chicken sandwiches.
Order the original Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real customers paid for their testimonials.
I've had COVID.
Me too.
But I didn't know you could get it again.
What?
And if you're 50 or older?
Or have a chronic condition like heart disease or diabetes.
Getting COVID again could get really serious, even deadly.
That's why getting an updated COVID vaccine is so important.
COVID isn't going away anytime soon, but I can lower my risk.
And I'm up for that.
We can do this. Find updated COVID vaccines near you at vaccines.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Progressive presents Adjusting to the Suburbs.
It never dawned on me how much walking I used to do until I bought a house in the suburbs. Like when I'd say, I'm going for coffee, of course I was walking. But now it's like 3 miles, and no latte's worth that. I find myself inviting people on walks with me like it's a scheduled activity. This morning, my neighbor asked me what I'm doing, and I actually said, I'm going for a walk with Nancy.
Anyway, when you save with Progressive by bundling your home and auto, that's the easy part of adjusting to the suburbs. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, coverage provided and serviced by affiliates and third-party insurers.
For more information about contests on the station, log on to espnavl.com.
Is it getting harder to find new customers? After all, it's one thing to run a business and another to grow it, especially these days. But what if you had access to everyone listening to me right now? Access to all the customers in your area. As the #1 audio company in America, iHeartMedia gives you access to all the customers you need to grow at a fraction of the cost of digital, video, and social advertising, with experts ready to craft your message fast. Get started today at iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
The Sportsocracy.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
Ice, heat, I don't know what he's been using, but Jalen Hurts better been using everything at his disposal to get healthy for this game, because the Giants, for one thing, look, I'm confident that Philadelphia is going to win this game, but that doesn't mean that I think they're going to blow them out. This is going to be a tough game. It's going to be hard fought. Giants are coming to play.
We have another one of these.
I'm your huckleberry.
There it is. There's that button that's been so elusive. Gage Camplin said he thinks recency bias is hitting me. I'm going to say the same thing in reverse. I think recency bias is hitting the league. You're looking at Jalen Hurts going, oh, look, he killed all of these defenses. Name me the good team he's beaten. I'll wait. It's the worst schedule in the NFL. It's not even close.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were in the NFC East where they had the 4 easiest schedules.
Right.
And they didn't have to play themselves.
What's the best one? Dallas?
No, the toughest schedule of the 4 was Washington. Because they were the worst team.
No. I mean, what's the tough
Oh, the best
defense?
win's Dallas.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the best win you have. And I'm not sitting here telling you that the Giants are out of this world good. What I'm saying is Philadelphia is not as hard to neutralize as people make them out to be. You need somebody that can deal with A.J. Brown because he is difficult to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
What happens when you do? Now it's on Devontae Smith and Jalen Hurts. Weird. I saw that exact same team in the playoffs last year get dog-walked by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Only game of the playoffs last year that I turned off was Devontae Smith and Jalen Hurts with this exact same offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's different. To me, the recency bias is you're getting drunk on watching them beat bad teams. I'm not sitting here telling you they're not going to win. They very easily could. This misnomer that they're going to come in here and blow the doors off a bad Giants team, I'm going to say I don't think you're seeing this right.
Yeah. A.J. Brown, what's the prop on him for this game?
Oh, it was 77.5 passing yards?
Over.
Or 77.5 receiving yards, excuse
Over.
me. Let me make sure that that's still accurate.
I'd be heavy on the over in that one. Interesting little stat.
You know,
Since he came into the league in 2019, there is no wide receiver in the NFL that has more yards than Devontae Smith against man coverage. And there's no team in the NFL that plays man coverage more than the New York Giants. He has destroyed man coverage. This season, over 600 yards. And since 2019, over 2,000 yards against man coverage. Number one for the season and for that stretch since 2019.
72.5, it's gone down. So A.J. Brown's at 72.5 receiving yards.
Even better. What's your other favorite prop?
And mine goes to Saquon Barkley. I do see a path that he is really, really good in this game because, honestly, the Giants got away from the run last week. He didn't have nearly the touches that I thought he would.
Mm-hmm.
It's at 70.5. And the favored side is under that. And to me, that is stupid.
Yeah, no, you're going to have to lean on your stud in this game.
I told you before the show, one of the biggest mind-boggling stats of this weekend is that every one of these games has over a 46.5 over-under, and I think that is ridiculous. By the way, do you know how many unders hit last week?
None.
One. And the only reason is because Brett Maher missed 4 extra points. I could see 3 of the unders hitting this week.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. We'll talk about Sunday's matchups after SportsCenter.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Next weather maker pulls into the Carolinas up from the Gulf of Mexico, bringing some half-inch rains to the late weekend forecast ahead. Our temps tonight down in the mid-20s. Those northwest winds make it feel like January is back. Partly cloudy Saturday, high 52, low 35. Half-inch rain Sunday, cool high 43. Low Sunday night down to 32 with some light wintry weather in the mountains. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Print and Marketing is committed to quality and printing perfect every time. Now at Staples, get $10 off your document printing and marketing materials order of $50 or more. Offer ends 2/11. See staples.com/store/printing for details. Try Staples and see the difference.
I've had COVID.
Me too.
But I didn't know you could get it again.
What?
And if you're 50 or older,
Or have a chronic condition like heart disease or diabetes.
Getting COVID again could get really serious, even deadly.
that's why getting an updated COVID vaccine is so important.
COVID isn't going away anytime soon, but I can lower my risk.
And I'm up for that.
We can do this. Find updated COVID vaccines near you at vaccines.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
This winter, there are new COVID-19 booster shots designed to help protect against recent Omicron variants. If it's been at least 2 months since your primary series or original booster, schedule your updated COVID-19 booster dose at vaccines.gov. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
Rachel Bonetta here, host of the Benched with Bonetta podcast, and now the NFL Game Day View podcast. Join me, Cynthia Freeland, Greg Rosenthal, and Patrick Claybon as we break down the week of games. We're going to give you our predictions on things such as how many points will be scored in each game, who is going to win, and how they will do it. Listen to new episodes of the NFL Game Day View podcast every Friday on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
I'm Doug Brown. The first game of the NFL's Divisional Weekend will be the Chiefs hosting the Jaguars tomorrow in Kansas City, and the last game will be the 49ers hosting the Cowboys on Sunday night. Dallas coach Mike McCarthy knows his team is the underdog.
We all like the fact that, people are doubting you. I think that's part of human nature. I think it's part of the dynamics of each and every one of us. So, we all come from somewhere. But yeah, we're very comfortable in this position.
Mike McCarthy, the Florida Gators release quarterback prospect Jaden Rashada from his national letter of intent. Rashada asked to be cut loose after a reported $13 million NIL deal fell through. He originally committed to Miami. Carolina Hurricanes winger Max Pacioretty will miss at least the next 7 games. He goes on IR today after a non-contact injury against the Wild on Thursday night. And the 5th-ranked UConn women's basketball team will be without sophomore AZ Fudd again after she re-injured her right knee Sunday against Georgetown.
We all know the game isn't over till it's over. So next time your car breaks down, don't call it quits. Head to eBay Motors. They have 122 million parts to take your car into overtime. Get the right parts at the right prices. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, Greene. That's Greene. Enter it now.
Log on now to ESPNAVL.com. And good luck from ESPN Asheville.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene. Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
It is the Sportsocracy, and we are heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app, locally, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Always coming to you live from the Ingles Studio, and you can see us on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat, get your thoughts in on all of the picks that we're making here on a Football Friday. And, we've gone through 2 games, and
We've gone through the Saturday games.
I can already tell that there could be some discrepancies at our picks this week.
Well, I can tell you, I do not have your picks. I have my picks. I have Asheville Police Chief Zack's picks. We have 2 discrepancies, and I am almost positive you and I have one. So there shall be no ties this week.
We've been through the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Kansas City Chiefs, the New York Giants at the Philadelphia Eagles. Now it's time to talk about the Sunday games because, the premier matchup of the weekend, it's the early game on Sunday. It's close.
And you know why?
Why?
Because nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
3 o'clock Sunday afternoon in Orchard Park. You got the Buffalo Bills hosting the Cincinnati Bengals, and it is the game that didn't get played. Well, we saw part of the game. Cincinnati got out to a 7-3 lead, and then, of course, tragedy struck, and we didn't get to finish that game. I felt like Cincinnati was on a roll early in that game, and this was not going to go the Buffalo Bills' way.
That's a really odd thing to say with a game that got 9 minutes in.
I get it. But Cincinnati did what they had to do. They had to come out and strike first, and they did, and they're going to look to do the same thing in this game. Their big problem, though, is going to be whether or not they can keep Joe Burrow protected. And today, the Bengals have announced that Alex Kappa and Jonah Williams out.
And Lyle Collins was already out, which means you're starting a tremendous front five of Jackson Carman, Cordell Volson, Ted Karras, Max Sharping, and Akeem Adeniji.
Aha.
Yeah. I don't like your chances. And Joe Mixon can be as angry about getting hosed as he wants to be. I don't think it matters. That front five is worse than what you had last year.
Mm-hmm.
And you think going up against the Buffalo Bills, you think Josh Allen turning the ball over is that's going to be your saving grace? Okay. I said this on the Adam Gold show earlier. That's the only thing you can give me against Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
I've done this all week long.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing you have is, well, Josh Allen turns the ball over. Yep, he keeps doing it. Yeah, he's like that guy you're friends with that goes to bars and says weird things to women and then keeps getting phone numbers. The scoreboard, George Costanza, you seem to be doing pretty well. I mean, you better thank God they turned the ball over, because if they didn't, they would house you. And that's kind of my take on this game. What happens if Buffalo doesn't turn it over? Let's just say somehow I see into the future, I go full Back to the Future, and I know exactly how many turnovers are in this game, and it's 0 on both sides. Tell me a way, any way, Buffalo didn't win this game by 2 scores.
It's not.
There you go.
You said it. You said it.
What that means is that there is no way Cincinnati's going to outright beat them. They will have to beat themselves. They've done that about 9 weeks in a row. You know how many losses they have in those 9 weeks?
How many?
0.
Buffalo is the stronger team on paper. But thankfully, games aren't played on paper.
No, they're played on television sets.
Bengals. Exactly. Look.
As long as you got Joe Burrow, it's always going to be competitive.
Yeah, Buffalo's going to be able to get after Joe Burrow. But the secondary for the Buffalo Bills scares me.
It's not going to matter.
It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter that you can't stop T. Higgins or Jamar Chase.
How far back in a drop do you think Joe Burrow's going to get? I already saw this once.
Mm-hmm.
This misnomer that Jackson Carman was so good, A, he had Samaje Perine behind him the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
B, he still got hit repeatedly. Now I went into this week knowing that. What do you think this game plan looks like? Because I'm going to go ahead and tell you. You ever play Frogger on hard? Because that's what Joe Burrow's about to see. I'm going to send 5 to 6 at you on every play.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care, because that's the one way I can neutralize T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. If you can't get to the top of a 5-step drop, I don't care how good they are. Okay, they're open. You're going to be throwing like you're throwing in the middle of traffic. I don't really care. And even with that being said, I still think this game's close, because I do think Buffalo will turn the ball over,
mm-hmm.
which will keep Cincinnati in this.
Mm-hmm. And Cincinnati's just hoping, winging a prayer. You
better hope Josh Allen beats himself, because you're not going to beat him outright.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I said this earlier in the week. Every single week or every single year, we get to this point in the playoffs where there's a very formidable team that just gets crippled by injuries. You're playing 4 backups. 4. Andrew Hayers in the YouTube comments said all he needs is 3 steps. I'm not sure he's going to have that, and I'll be honest with you, I don't agree with you.
They will get
because see, that's the thing that goes into the whole defensive game plan. Because now, if I've got Tre'Davious White on Jamar Chase, get in his face. I will press him on every play. Could it burn me? Sure, it could absolutely burn me.
Mm-hmm.
But if I don't turn the ball over, I'm gonna get home on Joe Burrow. Nobody can tell me that I'm not. Nobody. The Baltimore Ravens, who all year long we said your biggest drawback is that you can't get after the quarterback. They did.
Mm-hmm.
Early, often, and completely.
Right.
And now you're telling me Buffalo's not going to? Okay.
I don't think there's anybody with an IQ above salad dressing, as you like to say, that believes that Buffalo's not going to be able to get pressure on Joe Burrow. But Joe Burrow has been facing that pressure his entire career.
and weird, when did that stop? So when did Cincinnati turn the corner? I saw this graphic on Sunday Night Football of this game.
Turn the corner for what?
When did Cincinnati become the team we view them to be right now? Last 8 games of last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. They've given up the most sacks in the NFL 2 separate times. They started 2-2 this year, and I don't remember what the start of the record was in the first 8 games last year. Both times, when that script flipped with the Bengals, it's when the protection got better.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have anything left. You're going to dress 7 linemen in this game, maybe an 8th if you pull somebody off the practice squad. I just haven't seen you do it yet. You can't hide Samaje Perine off your left tackle forever. Because here's the thing, I'm not scared of your right tackle either. It'd be one thing if you had Lyle Collins over there. It'd be one thing if you had Jonah Williams on the left side. If you knew where I was sending pressure from, I would feel better. I don't. Because I can send any blitz in the playbook, and I'm going to get home. You know how much I like PFF grades.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how many of these linemen that are playing for the Bengals on Sunday have over a 51.5 PFF grade? Which, by the way, that's like undrafted free agent level.
2.
It's Ted Karras in the message, repeat the line. The other 4 are in the bottom 10 of their own positions,
Mm-hmm.
and 3 of them don't even qualify for that metric. They haven't played enough snaps. I had to go back a year on 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
This is a disaster for Cincinnati. Now, with all of that being said, I see Evan Doyle, one of our lovely Bengals fans, said, keep doubting. I'm not doubting Joe Burrow. I'm not doubting Jamar Chase. I'm not doubting Joe Mixon. Frankly, I'm not even doubting your defense. I'm saying I have Leslie Frazier calling a defense. He's not a blitz-happy guy. He's about to be. He's about to be, and you do not have an answer for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say again, even with that, I still think this game will be close.
Here's the other thing about that scares me about Cincinnati. Look, I know you get on me because this guy's a punching bag for me. But did you see Eli Apple play last week?
I did.
He's not good at football.
No kidding.
He is not good at football.
No kidding.
And he will get eaten alive by Josh Allen and these Buffalo receivers. I mean, I still think Cincinnati's going to be able to get theirs, offensively speaking. But defensively speaking, that's the one thing Josh wants to do. And that's the one thing he's going to be able to do at will.
Well, I mean, if you're looking at the Bengals, they have 2 outside corners. It's Eli Apple, it's Cam Taylor-Britt. Both of them are in the bottom 30 in the NFL in coverage grade for corners.
Mm-hmm.
And now you get Stephon Diggs and Gabriel Davis with a hyped-up Buffalo team that's in their place. Now, where I will say, I will agree with Joe Mixon, you got housed on this. If you remember, I said you have to make this game up.
Mm-hmm.
Weird. The first time they put a microphone in front of a Bengals player, it was Joe Mixon, and he said, we got housed. We got housed. This game should not be in Buffalo. It should have been a neutral site, too. Hey, Roger, maybe just put my number, just jot it down. None of this is all that hard to figure out. That's why I told you that you had to make this game up, because now I see this going one of 2 ways. Josh Allen keeps Cincinnati in it, and it's close late, and then the line just caves in, and Joe can't make the superhuman comeback.
Mm-hmm.
Or, and I think this is more of a possibility than people are going to let on, Cincinnati gets annihilated. You go into Buffalo and get beat 31-6. And I do think that is a staunch possibility.
Wow. I do not.
Name me the last time you ever saw a team with 4 backup linemen win anything. There's not a team in the league that can withstand that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I get Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. I'm not doubting how good your team is. You got housed a bunch of times. And now you have one of the best pass rushes in the NFL coming up against your second-string offensive line. Yeah, that's not that hard for me to figure out.
Yeah, no, you definitely don't like the position that Cincinnati's in. But again, a lack of protection is nothing new for Joe Burrow.
And yet again, I'm going to say the line has been good in 2 stretches. The end of the last 2 years. That's when Cincinnati's been really good. Other than that, they were mediocre to straight up bad. I'm not saying that they're going to be bad. I'm saying if Josh Allen doesn't turn the ball over, you will get annihilated.
Mm-hmm. Good thing for them, Josh Allen always turns the ball over. So, hence why I feel like this is going to be a close game.
I feel like if Ken Dorsey really wants a head coaching job, he needs to sit Josh Allen down and do the bird box thing and just force his eyes open of anything but a turnover. Lay down on it. I don't care. Throw it in the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
If you do not turn this ball over, we're going to the AFC Championship game. Period.
Mm-hmm. That's the one thing that has stood in their way, and I will not be shocked to see it continue here. Will it be an upset? Absolutely. Will it completely shock me if Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills just can't find a way to get it done at the end of the day? No, not really. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. You know, Jeremy's always got his eyes on a way to make money on these games. Best prop bets for the Sunday afternoon slate coming up next.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Driving slow 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 26 westbound slow between Airport Road and Long Shoals Road. Haywood County 40 westbound crawling between NC 209 and US 276. Sardis Road northbound stop and go between Bavard Road and Sand Hill Road. Hendersonville Road southbound slow between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Overlook Road. Sweeten Creek Road southbound slow between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Mills Gap Road. Near Avery Creek, Bavard Road north and southbound near Long Shoals Road is slow. In North Asheville, Merriman Avenue north and southbound near Edgewood Road delays. I'm Lee Benfield with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Pfizer. When temperatures drop, COVID-19 cases may rise. So if you test positive and are at high risk, act fast. Even if your symptoms feel mild, ask your provider if an authorized oral treatment could be right for you. Visit treatcovid19.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hey, this is Peter Schrager from the NFL Network's morning show, Good Morning Football. You've also seen me on NFL Sidelines and in studio for Fox Sports on Sunday. Well, I've got a new podcast with iHeart in the NFL, and we're calling it The Season with Peter Schrager. In each episode of this season, I'm going to empty my proverbial notebook and take you inside and behind the scenes on the conversations that happen at the highest levels of NFL franchises. Listen to The Season with Peter Schrager on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
I've had COVID.
Me too.
But I didn't know you could get it again.
What?
And if you're 50 or older,
Or have a chronic condition like heart disease or diabetes.
Getting COVID again could get really serious, even deadly.
that's why getting an updated COVID vaccine is so important.
COVID isn't going away anytime soon, but I can lower my risk.
And I'm up for that.
We can do this. Find updated COVID vaccines near you at vaccines.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Zack with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
The Sportsocracy.
Why are you smiling? Because I love football.
And welcome back into the Ingles Studio. It is the Sportsocracy. Get us on all the social medias at the Sportsocracy and look for Flostradamus's version 5 mock draft coming out tonight on the YouTube channel.
Be about 8 o'clock so long as Charter doesn't decide to just take the old afternoon off again.
Well, let's hope.
T's and P's. T's and P's to the old IP address.
Absolutely. We've got the divisional round of the playoffs this weekend. We're talking about the Bengals and the Buffalo Bills up in Orchard Park, 3 o'clock kickoff for the game. And Buffalo Bills are a 5.5-point favorite in this one.
This is a formidable time to go to betus.com. Use promo code SPORTS. Laid it out for you. You can hit a 5-way parlay depending on which way you think this game goes.
Okay.
You go over on the turnovers for Josh. If you think Cincinnati keeps this close, you go over on the turnovers for Buffalo. You can take it with Josh Allen. You can take a team turnovers, whatever you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Team turnovers 1.5. Josh Allen interceptions is half. Fumbles is half.
Safe over.
I'm not as confident of that. I can see Buffalo having the most mundane game plan you have ever seen. Of I'm going to send 6 at you on every play. You're going to have to beat me.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I would do it. And Leslie Frazier is infinitely smarter than I am. Or you go the way that I am and you take the under on everything Cincinnati and under on turnovers for Buffalo.
Okay. Give us some numbers. What's the over-under on Joe Burrow's passing yards?
275.5.
Yeah, there's a path.
Yeah,
there is the path to the under on that.
It's all in the eye of the beholder. It's however you think this game goes. This should not be one-offs. If you're hitting these individually, there's 4 other props that you can go, depending on how you think the game goes.
Mm-hmm.
That 3-dimensional chess thing you talk about with me. It's also why my active tickets looks like a flight board at AVL.
What was the number again? On Burrow?
275.5.
275. Last 5 games, how many times has he gone over 275?
He didn't against Baltimore.
Nope.
Twice. And I don't feel good about him doing it in this game.
Oh, no. He didn't hit it twice against Baltimore. It's once.
Oh.
Once in the last 5 games. He's had over 275 yards. In fact, he's not even gotten close to 275 yards in 4 of the last 5 games.
See, and I just feel like there's this disrespect for the Buffalo Bills. This defense is really good.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't have that one corner. I'm well aware of that.
It's the same old with the Buffalo Bills. They only get so far, and then they pull the rug out from underneath you. And it's hard to get around. That eventually this thing will fall apart. It's what I've felt about this team all year long. They are no doubt great on paper. They have all the pieces to win a title. But can they do it? Can they get over the hump? Can they take down Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals? And then go and take down the Kansas City Chiefs? And then if they do that, then you're going to have to beat a team that I really believe in, whether it be the San Francisco 49ers or the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl.
Oh, I'll go ahead and tell you. A fun stat. Just the conversation started in the YouTube chat. I went down a rabbit hole. Of the 4 teams remaining in the NFC playoffs,
mm-hmm.
Do you know what the most difficult schedule among the 4 was?
San Francisco?
No. They have the easiest one in the NFL.
Really?
Yes. 26th. The 4 teams left in the NFC playoffs played 4 of the 6 easiest schedules in the NFL.
Okay.
I'm going to level with you. I don't care who comes out of the NFC. I think they get annihilated by whoever comes out of the AFC.
Hmm.
And I'll go one step further. Since Bengal fans I think I have turned upon them, which I have not. Whoever wins this game is going to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's the Bills or the Bengals, I don't really care. I'll take either one of them against Kansas City.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Neutral field, no doubt. I get to go into Atlanta, take away your home field advantage. By the way, they sold 50,000 tickets for that Atlanta game in the first 24 hours.
Unless it's the Bengals, and then you got to go to Arrowhead.
Oh, that's true. Which I still found to be really stupid. But
well, there was no way they were going to tie.
I know. It's still just stupid.
See, if Cincinnati had won the first time around on the Monday Night Football game, they would have the tiebreaker with Buffalo to be hosting this game. And that's why Joe Mixon's upset.
Oh, no, I understand that.
Right. I wasn't explaining to you. I was explaining to the group here.
It had slipped my mind that you're right. Kansas City would host the game if it was Cincinnati.
Right. It can only be the neutral site in Atlanta if it's Kansas City and Buffalo. If Cincinnati wins this game, then they got to go to Arrowhead for the championship. Unless the Jacksonville Jaguars pull off the upset, and then you get to host. So you got that going for you. All right, so you're saying everything under for the Cincinnati Bengals is the way you're leaning.
If you think that Buffalo is going to play a modest game and try to control the clock and just don't turn the ball over. Now, if you think Buffalo's going to do what Buffalo's going to do, then go over on everything. Go over on Buffalo at turnovers and over on the number.
Mm-hmm.
Because to me, when I looked at the over-unders, one of the biggest things that jumped out to me, I genuinely thought Cincinnati-Buffalo would be 5 points ahead of every other game on the schedule. It's not. It's not, and that's weird to me. These are two really good offenses.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as I saw that number, I went, this is one of those times that Vegas is baiting you into something. And the more I went down the rabbit hole, the more 49 just doesn't make a ton of sense. I mean, does it to you?
No.
That seems pitifully low.
No, because I would look at this and I would expect it to be at least 52, 53.
I would have thought it would be – I thought it would be higher than Kansas City, Jacksonville, and I really have no problem with it being at 53. So I'd have probably said it 54.5. And so I'm looking at that number going, why does Vegas do that? Vegas does that because numbers come in one way or the other, but then I looked at the action on it. That's where it's been the entire time, which makes me think Vegas really believes it's going to be a lower-scoring game, and if this is not a shootout, I'm all in on Buffalo.
100%. This has to be a shootout. This has to be a rhythm type of a game for Cincinnati to come out the winner. Because I just feel like they don't have that. They don't have as much of the bring your lunch pail and let's dig in kind of an attitude that the Buffalo Bills have. They're a more flashy, shootout to the finish kind of a team.
There just seems to be this, and I don't know why this is happening, but I mean, I've heard a ton of people that are all over Cincinnati winning this game. You do understand it took a ridiculously stupid play call from Baltimore, or you would have been in a dogfight just to get here.
Yep.
And I don't know why people are not seeing that. It's bizarre to me. That being said, we'll have game picks in the third hour of this here program.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, and it's time to get weird.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
And now we have another incident where a viral snack is causing some problems for the youth of the world. This,
oh, good Lord! Please tell me this didn't come from TikTok.
This, I don't know what social media it came from because the story comes to us from Indonesia. So I don't know if they have the TikTok or they have some other social media network out there that they use. But the story from Indonesia is that health officials are warning against a street snack known as dragon's breath. Dragon's breath is candy that has been treated with liquid nitrogen. So it smokes. So I keep thinking like Dippin' Dots. You're familiar with the Dippin' Dots, the ice cream with the little tiny balls, and you.
Oh, they're so good.
Right, it's a staple of Asheville tourist games.
It's like astronaut ice cream. That's an ice cream I can get down with.
The Dippin' Dots.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I would like to have one of those in my house.
Okay,
where I
now-
could just put my head under it like a slushy machine.
Okay, now imagine the Dippin' Dots. That this is a candy made pretty much the same way, but it's a lot more concentration of the liquid nitrogen to the point where if you eat the candy, then you can open your mouth and the vapor comes out. That's how much liquid nitrogen is being used for this quote unquote street snack, as they call it. So there have been over 25 cases of children being hurt consuming these candies, including 2 who were hospitalized for things like burns on their esophaguses. Esophagi? I don't know.
Beats me. I just figured out what paltry meant like a week ago.
There have also been reports of the street vendors making the Dragon's Breath candy who have also had to go to the hospital because they get burned by using so much of the liquid nitrogen to make it. Just skin contact has caused injuries. And apparently this has gone viral on the Indonesian version of TikTok. And now they're saying, don't do it. Don't do it. Thankfully, we don't have to worry about that here in America. It's still frightening, though, to think your kid's getting some innocent snack on the, on the street corner, and here comes poison control.
Do you remember former Denver Bronco Derek Wolfe?
Vaguely.
He also
Defensive
played for
end.
the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
He was a tough guy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this might be his toughest feat ever. He was a member of the Broncos Super Bowl 50 championship team, and he retired. Well, now he lives in a rural Colorado neighborhood. Well, apparently, his neighborhood had a problem, and it was a mountain lion problem. Wolf said in an Instagram post that the mountain lion had killed 2 dogs and a mule deer, which I know both of those words. I've never seen them together, and I am terrified to even Google what that means. So apparently the neighborhood, they figured out, well, we got a problem, and somebody has to go solve it. So they nominated Derek Wolfe, who then proceeded to hike 9,600 feet to find the mountain lion, and then he killed it with a bow and arrow.
Nice.
Okay, look. I like to fashion myself to be a reasonably TG tough guy. If Derek Wolfe and I came into contact in a dark alley, I would just throw all of my things at him and go, please don't hurt me. Because not only did he kill the mountain lion, he then drug it back down the mountain to show the neighborhood that he killed it.
Hell yeah. That's Orion the Hunter stuff there.
He also explained he almost died during the chase, but didn't really elaborate on what that means. He said he was dehydrated and exhausted, had some cramping issues, but he also said, I almost died. I need to know. So how?
Well, I mean, he was scaling a mountainside, 9,600 feet. Pretty sure there could have been a brush with a cliff or something in that. Or before he was able to shoot the mountain lion, maybe it found him before he found it.
I just, I feel like I can hold my own. I don't feel like I am equipped to be staring at a mountain lion and all I have is a bow and arrow.
Yeah, you're not.
You give me
you're really not.
You give me a bang, 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 and I got a shot. 'Cause I'm pretty handy with one of those.
Well, okay. I could see that. Old tough guy who doesn't like the outdoors and is afraid of squirrels.
Oh, yeah, I'm not going
You'll kill a mountain lion, but you won't go near a squirrel.
Do I have a bang, bang, bang? As if I do, it makes it a lot more palatable to deal with a squirrel.
Well, 100%. With your bang, 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 if you miss, you're dead.
Well, here's the thing. I don't very often.
It's the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Second game of Sunday, the 6 o'clock game. Got the Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers meeting in the playoffs with a trip to the NFC Championship on the line.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Next weather maker pulls into the Carolinas up from the Gulf of Mexico, bringing some half-inch rains to the late weekend forecast ahead. Our temps tonight down in the mid-20s. Those northwest winds make it feel like January is back. Partly cloudy Saturday, high 52, low 35. Half-inch rain Sunday, cool high 43. Low Sunday night down to 32 with some light wintry weather in the mountains. I'm meteorologist Scott Lauriamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Driving slow, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and Montford Avenue. 26 westbound slow between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Haywood County, 40 westbound crawling between NC 209 and US 276. Sardis Road northbound slow between Bavard Road and Sand Hill Road. In North Asheville, Merriman Avenue northbound approaching Edgewood Road, delays. Sweeten Creek Road north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Hendersonville Road southbound approaching Long Shoals Road, delays. Near Avery Creek, Bavard Road northbound approaching Long Shoals Road is slow. I'm Lyndon Field with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Pfizer. When temperatures drop, COVID-19 cases may rise. So if you test positive and are at high risk, act fast. Even if your symptoms feel mild, ask your provider if an authorized oral treatment could be right for you. Visit treatcovid19.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Tara, quote, "My doctor wanted me to do saline rinses for my allergies, but I've never been able to successfully use a neti pot. Navage uses suction power, so it's foolproof. There are nights when I'll have particularly bothersome allergies. I'll bust it out, and the results are immediate. It's such a relief. It's become a lifesaver." Unquote. She's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Rachel Bonetta here, host of the Benched with Bonetta podcast, and now the NFL Game Day View podcast. Join me, Cynthia Freeland, Greg Rosenthal, and Patrick Claybon as we break down the week of games. We're going to give you our predictions on things such as how many points will be scored in each game, who is going to win, and how they will do it. Listen to new episodes of the NFL Game Day View podcast every Friday on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
Did you know Ingles only sells USDA Choice and Prime cuts of meat? Our butchers cut all our meat fresh in the store every day. We'll even cut it to order just the way you like it. It's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
It is the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. Divisional round, one game left to break down here. We'll give you our picks coming up in the next hour. We'll also have the daily draft coming up at the top of the hour, as today Jeremy and I will be drafting the most, the most influential individuals in the outcomes of the divisional round games this weekend in the NFL playoffs. 6 o'clock kickoff. in San Francisco, or 6:30 kickoff, in San Francisco. The 49ers hosting the Dallas Cowboys. And look, this game comes down to, can Brock Purdy still be unbelievable? Because it is the most unbelievable story we've ever seen. Never before has a guy taken last in the draft been so crucial to a team's performance. Period. I would say even in the preseason. And now we're talking about a trip to the NFC Championship on the line. You need Mr. Irrelevant to be super relevant. And frankly, I think he's going to get it done.
I don't feel like Brock Purdy has to be special. The San Francisco defense is going to be enough to where this is not all on Brock Purdy. Christian McCaffrey has to do what Christian McCaffrey does. He needs about 120 all-purpose yards.
Mm-hmm.
Nice little contribution from Deebo Samuel. George Kittle keep being the touchdown machine. San Francisco wins. End of message. Repeat the line. I am dumbfounded, and I didn't think Cowboys could dumbfound me. I am dumbfounded by how heavy the action is on the Dallas Cowboys.
Because everybody's looking at last week and going, oh, this was an awesome performance. Dak Prescott played his best game of his life, and they're expecting it to continue.
Against a god-awful defense with a geriatric playing quarterback. That has less than zero to do with what you're going to see this week. There were parts of last week that really gave me some hope. As I said, I've now seen Dak Prescott have that game where he put the team on his back. He was the $40 million quarterback, and that's a thing I've seen him do. I do think they have a little bit of an advantage in that I don't think any of the corners for San Francisco can really deal with CeeDee Lamb. Where is the other advantage? CeeDee Lamb has a bad day. Where are you catching the other advantage? It's not
Tony
Dalton
Pollard.
Schultz.
Tony Pollard, maybe.
And even
but if
then,
CD's not good, then obviously that's not going to help, right? Because, like, the way Tony Pollard can hurt you is if you're backing off because Dak's doing his thing in the passing game. If Dak can't do that, then we'll just load the box and kill you.
It's not quite that easy to stop Tony Pollard. There are very creative ways to get him the ball. This is one of the most disciplined defenses in the NFL with linebackers that can absolutely fly. So I just don't see it being Tony Pollard. This, to me, it all falls on, I need Dak to be that guy again. And somebody in the passing game is going to have to step up.
Mm-hmm.
This misnomer about the Dallas defense, I don't know what more you need to see. They're very good against very bad teams. This is not a very bad team. And this is arguably the most creative play caller in the NFL. Only one I would put ahead of him would be Andy Reid, and even that's close.
Mm-hmm.
However, there is one thing that I have not heard anybody say over the course of the last, 6 days, 5 days. And it kind of blows my mind because it was the first thing I thought of when I saw this matchup.
Okay.
Who was Dan Quinn's offensive coordinator?
Kyle Shanahan.
He knows this offense better than anybody. He practiced against it every single day. So I could see a path where there's a very creative game plan using your chess piece, which is Micah Parsons. When we first saw this matchup, I said if your goal is to just line him up against Trent Williams and think that's your path to him being impactful, you're wrong. I genuinely believe Kellen Moore's smarter than that. Or not, Dan Quinn's smarter than that, because you're going to have to deal with, if you can move him around, there are some deficiencies on this 49er team. You're going to have to throw looks at Brock Purdy that can confuse him. Because what he's done unbelievably well is use his eyes to lead off safeties, make sure that he's got that window, because he is really taking a lot of risks for a third-string quarterback. I mean, at this point, I don't even think that's what he is. That's what he started the year. Now he's the quarterback moving forward. The question is, do you treat him with a little bit more kid gloves this week? Because my path that San Francisco loses this game, and I don't necessarily think it's going to happen, but it could, is Brock Purdy beats you. I'm not sure Dak Prescott can beat you. Even if he goes 330 yards, okay, show me what Tony Pollard did, because I have a funny feeling it's going to be 12 carries for 25 yards, which means you're one-sided, you're probably behind, and that number is going to look a little skewed. I don't think you're winning this game that way.
Yeah.
Defensively, you're going to have to throw the exotic look that when he tries to do that thing with his eyes, where he leads the safety and he feels like he knows what's happening over here, you've shown him some eye candy and you can pick him off once or twice, create some extra possessions. That is a path that Dallas could win this game.
Mm-hmm. Problem is he hasn't done that. Brock hasn't done that.
No, he hasn't.
And I don't know that this is the defense to do it. Micah Parsons is unbelievable. I get it. But, I mean, you need everybody. You need everybody on their A game here. And I just don't like the matchups. I like Brandon Ayuk over every corner that they could throw at him.
I would say Ayuk probably gets Trayvon Diggs. I don't like Ayuk against Diggs. I'll go ahead and tell you. And that's why I would do it that way.
What are you going to do with Kittle?
Kittle, I'm going to have to throw – I'm going to throw everything up the kitchen sink at him. In large part, I would say everybody on that defense is going to see him at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And then that leaves Debo and Christian McCaffrey. That's
right.
the thing about San Francisco, is that they've just got so many different pieces.
Right.
If two drives into this game, Kyle Shanahan figures out that Dan Quinn's mantra in this week was, we're going to shut down George Kittle.
Mm-hmm.
Great. What exactly are you doing with Debo Samuel? Because now I'm going to start throwing creative things that you've never seen before. Because I got news for you. Kyle's got something in the bag that Dan Quinn's never seen. You'd have to. These two know each other really well, which means this could be a great slugfest for a half. My fear is that it goes, for Cowboy fans, is that it goes exactly how last week did. Dallas keeps it a game for a half. They go in at the half. Kyle Shanahan brings out the old bag of tricks, and next thing you know, it's a two-possession game.
Yep.
And if Dak's chasing points against that defense, there's one thing I can tell you definitively. There's an interception coming that will absolutely cripple you.
Now, there's either an interception or there's three. Because that's the thing. Dak Prescott had to play mistake-free football. Not that if he had thrown an interception in that Tampa Bay game, they would have lost or anything like that. That was a blowout. That was
he could have run backwards on every drive. That wouldn't have mattered.
But you have to do it again. You have to play mistake-free football against that San Francisco defense, or they will make you pay.
Are you of the belief that the NFC representative in the Super Bowl comes out of this game?
I'm not so certain of that.
I've heard that narrative all week, and I kind of am. Yeah, I kind of am. If Dallas can get by San Francisco, I think they're going to the Super Bowl. And if San Francisco wins, I think this is their biggest test.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. Philadelphia's good, and I know it sounds like I'm throwing shade at Philadelphia.
A little bit.
I'm not. I just feel like they're a lot of fool's gold, and they're good but not great, and people are treating them like they're great. And those teams in the playoffs tend to get punched directly in the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Tampa Bay. How many of you thought, well, Tom's going to figure it out? No, in the playoffs, rubber meets road. There's no more sleight-of-hand magic. There's no more hiding your deficiencies against the Chicago Bears. This is the best teams in the league, and if you have a flaw, it will be exposed.
Mm-hmm.
So I am of the belief, whoever wins this, that's who I'll go ahead and tell you. And I don't care. There's virtually nothing that could happen in that Giants-Eagles game that's going to change my mind. San Francisco's been my favorite the entire time. If Dallas were to beat them, I think you come in with almost a house money mindset, and I think you're almost as talented with a better quarterback.
Flostradamus's best bets for the game, San Francisco and Dallas. What do the prop bets look like? He'll give those to you up next.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Driving slow, 240 westbound between Chuns Cove Road and Montford Avenue. 26 westbound slow between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 40 westbound in Haywood County, crawling between NC 209 and US 276. In North Asheville, Merriman Avenue northbound approaching Edgewood Road is slow. Sweeten Creek Road north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. In the Fletcher area, Hendersonville Road northbound approaching Fanning Bridge Road is slow. I'm Lynn Benfield with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Pfizer. When temperatures drop, COVID-19 cases may rise. So if you test positive and are at high risk, act fast. Even if your symptoms feel mild, ask your provider if an authorized oral treatment could be right for you. Visit treatcovid19.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hello there. My name is Seychelle, and what makes the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich original to me is the punch of flavors that's unlike any other. You get the crispy tenderness of the chicken and that hint of sourness from the pickles. Ta-da!
Hey, I'm Juan, and what makes the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich original to me is you know you're gonna get chicken that's crispy, golden, and juicy. This is the gold standard of chicken sandwiches.
Order the original Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real customers paid for their testimonials.
Of course, your favorite station is on the free iHeartRadio app. Take us with you anywhere and listen anytime. Plus, get thousands of other stations and playlists all free. Download our free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts.
iHeartRadio. This week at Macy's, get an extra 20% off with your coupon or Macy's card. That's on top of great savings, like 50 to 60% off coats and puffers for him and for her, 40 to 55% off boots and shoes for her, and 20 to 50% off bed and bath refreshes from Charter Club and more. Plus, stock up and save with an amazing 25 to 70% off season-end clearance deals. Now at Macy's. Savings off sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
Did you know Ingles only sells USDA Choice and Prime cuts of meat? Maybe it's time to reward yourself. Our butchers cut all our meat fresh in the store every day. Grass-fed, organic, you name it. Not only that, we'll even cut it to order just the way you like it. And we grind meat fresh in the store multiple times a day. It's all in the bag. That's the best meat in town for the best folks in town. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelley Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
The Sportsocracy.
Pull up your pants, take off the bra, and be a man.
San Francisco is a 4-point favorite against the Dallas Cowboys in Sunday's matchup. 6:30 is the kickoff Eastern time. The over-under is 46.5. We'll give you our official picks for the weekend coming up in the next hour. What do the prop bets look like, though, Jeremy?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and tell you that over-under screams under to me. Ones that I'm interested in, Tony Pollard total rushing yards. Where would you set that line?
65.
47.5. That seems really low to me.
Yes.
Now, I do fall back into the – apparently he can only get 15 touches a week, and then Kellen Moore just banishes him to the bench.
Well, because you got to get Zeke involved.
Oh, no, you don't. They may think that, but no, you don't. Brock Purdy passing yards, 239.5. That seems miserably low to me.
Okay.
Because I think a lot of what Christian McCaffrey does in this game is going to be through the air, not necessarily on the ground.
Yeah, I don't think that's one I'm touching.
Even at 239.5?
Yeah.
Does that mean you would be in on?
Because, again, he doesn't have to be special.
239.5 is not special. 239.5 is very Zach Wilson-y. That's very Mac Jonesy.
Mm-hmm.
See, to me, I love that one. I would go over, I think, by quite a bit.
Okay.
And it may be very dink and dunk, but all right. So what that makes me think is that you would be over on both Christian McCaffrey props.
Okay.
Rushing yards 66.5.
Over.
That feels like a layup to me. Which anytime I see a prop bet and I go, that feels like a layup. What do you know? What do you know that I don't know? Because receiving yards is only 36.5, which means Vegas has him at 103 for this game, and that just seems miserably low to me.
Mm-hmm. I would take Christian McCaffrey with the over, but Brock Purdy is, like I said, I don't need him to be that.
And I thought that maybe it was Elijah Mitchell's back, they'll take some of the workload. He's at 27.5.
I'd take the over on him.
I would certainly take that one. Feels like a layup.
Mm-hmm.
If you think he gets more than 6 touches, he'll go over 27.5 yards.
Absolutely. I mean, he looked good running the ball last week. That one run that he had where he ran over the linebacker, I mean, just went full like Bo Jackson. I went, oh, well, if you add that to Christian McCaffrey and you can do this back and forth, Brock Purdy can, come out and be, I don't know, 16 of 20 for 120 yards, and you're going to win the game. And to me, that it doesn't really matter who you play. That's not just a statement about the Dallas Cowboys.
I'll tell you another one that feels like it's Vegas going, please give us your dollars. Total receptions for George Kittle. 3.5.
Over.
Yeah, that feels like one of those where this feels like the pie on the windowsill in the Looney Tunes cartoons where the finger comes out and goes, just come get it. And there's Elmer Fudd on the other side with a rifle.
Although he only had 2. He only had 2 in the Seattle game.
I know.
Maybe there's something to maybe that's a fool's errand to take the over on that. But I would fully expect him to be much more involved this week.
It's going to be a very interesting weekend of football. After the break, we'll do our daily draft, giving you the most important people of the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very clear delineation.
Yes.
Notice we didn't say players.
That's right.
Players are involved. It involves everybody else, too. Also, we've been asked this question a few times in the chat. I've meant to get to it, and we just didn't. We are running the DraftKings contest again. So the link is in the description of our YouTube video, in the chat, and will be on the social media after the show. And, yes, it will actually be on the – okay, Charter and I do not have the greatest relationship. And when I leave here, I forget things. So if it doesn't work right here, it becomes very difficult. So just maybe send me a message and go, hey, where's that link at? Maybe you throw it somewhere I can find it.
All right, Sports Center is coming up next right here on ESPN Asheville. We'll be back here live in the Ingles Studio with today's daily draft. The MIPs, the most important persons in this weekend's divisional round.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Next weather maker pulls into the Carolinas up from the Gulf of Mexico, bringing some half-inch rains to the late weekend forecast ahead. Our temps tonight down in the mid-20s. Those northwest winds make it feel like January is back. Partly cloudy Saturday, high 52, low 35. Half-inch rain Sunday, cool high 43. Low Sunday night down to 32 with some light wintry weather in the mountains. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Driving slow, 240 westbound between Chuns Cove Road and Montford Avenue. 26 westbound slow between Airport Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 40 westbound in Haywood County, crawling between NC 209 and US 276. In North Asheville, Merriman Avenue northbound approaching Edgewood Road is slow. Sweeten Creek Road north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. In the Fletcher area, Hendersonville Road northbound approaching Fanning Bridge Road is slow. I'm Lynn Benfield with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Jackson Hewitt. Jackson Hewitt gets you your biggest tax refund guaranteed, plus a chance to double your refund or win weekly prizes with their Double Your Refund sweepstakes. File your taxes on the double. No purchase necessary. U.S. residents 18 or older who file a 2022 federal tax return. Ends 4/2/23.
You might not have the biggest garage on the block, but with eBay Motors, there's 122 million parts right at your fingertips, whatever you need. There's something that fits your vehicle. Air filters, tires, seat covers, and more. Get the right parts at the right prices. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
The Sportsocracy.
One thing that you're going to have to remember, one most important factor, is to protect your quarterback, me.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Less than 3 weeks after Buffalo safety Damar Hamlin collapsed on the field, the Bills and Bengals will meet again, this time in Western New York, and this time in a divisional playoff game. ESPN's Rob Ninkovich.
Buffalo has struggled in the last part of the season, at the end of the season, in stopping the run. And even last week against Miami, they let up way too many yards. So again, I think Buffalo up front, they're going to have to make a statement and get after the quarterback and stop the run. That's vital.
Rob Ninkovich, the Bills host the Bengals Sunday. The last game of the weekend will be the 49ers hosting the Cowboys. Former Saints head coach Sean Payton's meeting with Panthers owner David Tepper will be rescheduled. It had been set for today, but Tepper was at a vigil for Charlotte FC defender Anton Walkes, who died after a boating accident. Tepper also owns the soccer club. Georgia center Cedric Von Prawn will play one more year in Athens, announcing on Twitter he'll be back with the two-time national champs. Celtics forward Jason Tatum is out for tomorrow's game against the Raptors with a sore left wrist.
We all know the game isn't over till it's over. So next time you need parts for your car, don't call it quits. Go to eBay Motors. They have 122 million parts to take your car into overtime. Get the right parts at the right prices. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
Now, your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website. Bonus. That's bonus. Enter it now.
Log on now to ESPNAVL.com. And good luck from ESPN Asheville.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
It is the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. It is a football Friday here in the Sportsocracy. The divisional round kicks off tomorrow afternoon.
I don't think I've done this yet, so it's probably dumb. Divisional round football!
That's right. We got 4 games this weekend. We've already done the deep dive. The analysis on each of the matchups. We'll give you our official picks coming up later on in this hour, as well as Jeremy's bangers for the weekend. We've been talking prop bets and scenarios of every kind in these 4 games. Now it's time to determine who the most important people are associated with these games. If your team is going to come out the victor and advance to the conference championship game, who are the persons that are going to be most influential in those wins taking place? You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Don't forget to watch us on YouTube. You can follow along, and you can also get your comments in on the program through the chat of the YouTube channel. That's how this works.
You can also vote in our House of Reprehensibles polls. So far, the Reprehensibles are taking the Giants plus the 7.5 and the Jaguars plus the 9. Apparently, the Reprehensibles really like dogs.
Mm-hmm. Buffalo Bills and the Cincinnati Bengals is the poll up right now. You can vote on that, whether you think the Buffalo Bills will be able to cover the 5.5 or whether you're taking the Bengals plus the number.
Early lean to nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
Indeed. All right. So, anyway, most important persons when it comes to the divisional round of the playoffs. Let's get the draft started here live from the Ingles Studio. Jeremy, you got the first pick?
I do, because I smoked you like a honey ham after you destroyed me with breakfast foods.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, we should do more food-related drafts because you do very well in those.
Yes, I do.
I struggled with this probably more than I should, and then I finally came back to sometimes you have to just take the layup. It's Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is the most important. He has to be subhuman because it's not going to be Joe Mixon. I'm not
subhuman or superhuman.
Superhuman. What did I say? Subhuman.
You did.
Superhuman. He has to be a superhero. That's the only way you're winning this game. He has to be dynamic. He has to make timely throws. He's going to have to be elusive. Look, Joe Burrow is not exactly a straight line fast guy. He is mobile. He is mobile enough to dodge pressure. And if he starts doing that, because Buffalo, like I said, Buffalo's going to send the Hellhounds. Mm-hmm. There's no doubt in my mind about that.
Mm-hmm.
Leslie Frazier blitzes less than any coordinator in the league. I do not care. This is a blood in the water scenario. And if I start sending blitzes, it helps to take out Joe Mixon. And I just don't feel like there's any other way. I don't see a way this defense holds up against Gabriel Davis and Stephon Diggs. You're not built for this. Your best corner is your slot guy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he takes out Cole Beasley. Awesome. I got two high flyers that are going to be very difficult for Eli Apple and Cam Taylor-Britt to deal with. And the only way I see you doing it is if Joe Burrow comes out and looks like that guy that led this team to the Super Bowl last year. And then some. I think he has to be more than that.
Mm-hmm. All right, Joe Burrow, most important person for this weekend in the divisional round for Jeremy Greene. It's interesting because I'm going to go with the other quarterback, Josh Allen.
I'm not going to lie. I baited you into doing that.
Baited me.
I don't think Josh Allen has I really don't think he has anything to do with this.
Really?
He comes out and turns it over 3 times. Mm-hmm. Bills win or lose?
Lose.
I disagree. I could easily see him doing exactly what he did last week, and they still win.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was one of the ones I considered. And the more I thought about it, the more I went, you know what? I don't really care.
Yeah.
Because I could see James Cook, Devin Singletary, Nyheim Hines. Let me just say that clearly. I did this last week, 3 for 3 in players that I did that with.
Mm-hmm.
They all 3 scored. He's going to get more. Do you know how many snaps he played last week?
No.
10. Yeah, I have a funny feeling that's going to be a lot higher this week.
Could be. Could be. To me, Josh Allen is the most important person in these playoffs because he's the one that I'm not going to say I doubt the most. I feel like you play with fire long enough, you're going to get burned.
Done it all year long.
Exactly.
So, all right, let me ask this a different way. Because you answered that so quickly that I feel like you didn't really – I'm not going to say you didn't think about what I said. I'll do it again. Josh Allen fumbles 3 times this week.
Mm-hmm.
Loses one of them. Goes 23 of 39, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and is sacked 7 times. Who wins this game?
Cincinnati Bengals.
It's weird because you know what that stat line is?
What?
Exactly what he did last week. And you still won.
Weird.
You're going to say against a third-string quarterback. Cool. I'm going against a second-string offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
You think I'm overrating that. I'm not. Most NFL teams carry 8 linemen on their active roster.
Sure.
You've got 2 guys playing here that didn't dress for half of the games you played this year. And you've got to stop Ed Oliver, Tim Settle, Greg Rousseau, Boogie Basham. That's a formidable line. And I didn't say anything about Matt Milano, who is the missile, or Tremaine Edmonds, Milano specifically, who is the missile that comes on blitzes.
If you think there's any path to Buffalo keeping Cincinnati out of the end zone, then sure. I don't see it.
Oh, I do.
We can get.
I could easily see a path. This is a cold Buffalo. It's going to be a cold Buffalo game. That's not I'm not forecasting anything. It's going to be 30 degrees. It's going to be cold, and the wind's going to be blowing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily know that bothers Cincinnati as much as it bothers other teams. I could see this being a low-scoring game. I don't think it will be. There's a path to it. There's a path to it where Leslie Frazier and Ken Dorsey sat down with Sean McDermott. All he said, you don't turn the ball over, you don't let them pass the 50-yard line. They get close, you send the dogs again.
Mm-hmm. Teams have been sending the dogs at Joe Burrow, and he always finds a way to perform. Always.
And yet you seem to be missing the thing that I've kept saying. This was a league average team when he got hit all the time. All of a sudden you fixed that because the line got better after 4 games this year.
Mm-hmm.
Notice that's when they started winning.
Yeah, but they didn't fix it. I mean,
how many quarterbacks in the NFL got hit less than Joe Burrow? It's 0.
Yeah.
There's not one in the NFL. That's called fixing that. He went from the most hit quarterback in the league to the least. That's the definition of fixing that.
He was not the least
hit
quarterback.
He was the least hit quarterback or it might have been the least sacked quarterback. They showed this little infographic on NBC about 11 times.
Mm-hmm.
And weird, win-loss record, they had 6 losses in the games where it was that bad. They had 3 losses total in every other game. I got news for you. I don't care how much you like any of these guys. He's going to get hit,
mm-hmm.
and it's going to happen a lot. Can he persevere through it? Sure. He did. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sitting here telling you that in those games, and I can't remember how many games it was. It was the first 8 of last year, the first 4 of this year. I think there were 6-6 total in those 2 sets,
mm-hmm.
and they had 3 total losses or something like that in every other game. It's a huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
It's as big a difference as Miami losing Tua Tagovailoa and going to Skylar Thompson.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you said it there. He almost lost to Skylar Thompson. So, look.
But he didn't.
But he did. I get it. He didn't. Big whoop. I don't care. Joe Burrow and that offense is way better than the Miami offense led by Skylar Thompson.
Behind that offensive line, I'm going to say it's not as discrepant as you think.
Okay.
And statistically, I'm right. So this
Buffalo
is a lot.
Bills
This is a lot like the guy that
he's going to be
drives.
sacked on every play. He's never going to do anything.
That's not what I said. What I said is I need Joe Burrow to be a superhuman individual in this game, and he's going to be harassed all game long. That's what I said.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can see a path that he's only sacked 3 or 4 times. And
yeah, okay.
This is a big play offense. That is how they work. Jamar Chase has more 50-plus yard receptions than any receiver not named Justin Jefferson in the last 2 years.
Yep.
How many of those you see this week? Because I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's 0. It's just a big deal.
All right. I feel like Josh Allen, he is important to his team making it on to the next round, and if he turns the ball over, especially in a crucial spot, I'm going to take Joe Burrow and that offense to be able to take advantage of Buffalo down the stretch and win this game.
I'm starting to feel
the
like
offensive line is not good.
I'm starting to feel like Buffalo is the team that is the guy that just speeds all the time. And everybody says, well, you're going to get a wreck one of these days.
Yep.
Well, after 7 years, I think I know what I'm doing.
Just because you think you know what you're doing doesn't mean it's always safe.
Oh, no,
and
safe
eventually,
safe.
it's going to get you.
Hadn't yet. 13-3, won 10 in a row. I think I'm doing just fine.
And here's the thing. Every year it gets you. Every year there's something that happens that keeps you from living up to your expectations.
My argument with the Buffalo Bills, and nobody's going to be able to refute this because there's not really a way to refute it.
Mm-hmm.
If I somehow gave you an amnesia pill and you didn't know anything about this team other than this year, this wouldn't even be a debate. It wouldn't be. You would be looking at what these 2 teams have done, where Cincinnati is health-wise. At full strength, I'm not saying this.
Mm-hmm.
I still think it would have been a problem because Jonah Williams is not all that good. At full strength, this is a great game. This is not a full-strength team. This is a killed team. And if it wasn't for but what happened last year? What happened last year was with 17 seconds left, they were headed to the Super Bowl. I know they had to beat Cincinnati. I'm well aware of it. It would have been Buffalo. If you think they would have beat them in Buffalo, I got a bridge to sell you.
Right. You had to get the stop last year, and you couldn't do it. You couldn't get the stop against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, and it came back to bite you. I could see the very same thing happening in this one.
I cannot.
Number 2 pick for me, most important persons to the outcome of this weekend's divisional games. I'm going to have to go with the next closest game. Then that's the Philadelphia Eagles and the New York Giants. I think that will be the next closest game this weekend after the Buffalo Bills and the Cincinnati Bengals. And you know what? I got to go with the coaching here. It's Nick Sirianni.
I was about to say, there's one name you can say right here that's going to really anger me.
And that wasn't it?
No, that's the one.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that's exactly. That was, for me, Joe Burrow was 1A, Nick Sirianni was 1B.
Right. Nick Sirianni has to not get in his own way. I don't know what it is about Miles Sanders, but we have had this over the last 2 years where he just disappears at times. He's not included in the game plan. You see more of Boston Scott and Kenny Gainwell than you do of Miles Sanders, and it's very, very frustrating. If Jalen Hurts is not up to snuff this week, we don't know how hurt he is, how much he's back from his shoulder injury. You have to get everything you can out of Miles Sanders. You got to feature him in this game because, to me, the Giants are not very good at stopping the run. They're not an elite run stuff in defense, and that's the way you're going to get the work.
If you think we're overvaluing the Nick Sirianni thing, ask yourself this question. Look at the 8 coaches left. Is there one you trust less than Nick Sirianni?
No.
I thought you were going to say Mike McCarthy, and I was immediately going to say,
no,
he won a Super Bowl.
Exactly, because everybody left in this has a Super Bowl or have been to the Super Bowl.
Not necessarily as a head coach.
Right, but there's no mistaking here. Like,
if I told you one coach beat their team this week, how heavily would Nick Sirianni be the favorite? I'm at plus 500 easily.
Okay.
That
he will be the one to
500.
I was getting ready to say plus 500. Say I would be in minus territory.
Yeah, sorry, I said that backwards.
Yeah, I would. I don't know if I'd be at minus 500, but he would definitely be the favorite.
He would be the unequivocal favorite to me.
Right. So Nick Sirianni's got to be part of the most important persons. He is my second pick. Now we're up against it on the break, so we're going to take the break. We'll let Jeremy take the time to figure out where he's going to
reassess
go.
my strategy since you took Nick Sirianni from me.
You are in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Driving slow, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and US 1923, exit 3. 26 westbound slow between Airport Road and Bavard Road. 40 westbound Haywood County, crawling between NC 209 and US 276. In North Asheville, Merriman Avenue northbound approaching Edgewood Road, heavy delays. Sweeten Creek Road, north and southbound approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Hendersonville Road, no backups. I'm Lyndon Field with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. Taco Bell has $2 grilled chicken burritos that come in 2 bold flavors, Chipotle Ranch and Salsa Verde. They're bursting with grilled chicken and delicious sauces. Get your $2 grilled chicken burrito at participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only, while supplies last. Price and participation vary. Tax extra.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Tara, quote, My doctor wanted me to do saline rinses for my allergies, but I've never been able to successfully use a neti pot. Navage uses suction power, so it's foolproof. There are nights when I'll have particularly bothersome allergies. I'll bust it out, and the results are immediate. It's such a relief. It's become a lifesaver." Unquote. She's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Asheville, the ultimate battle. March 17th and 18th, the Egg Center. Here they come. 3D monster trucks, starring Lone Wolf, battling Boss Gator, and more. Tickets now at MonsterTNT.com or buy at Allen's Jewelry and Pawn for free pit passes.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Zack with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at ClarissaSellsWNC.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
Everyone's heard about the housing market and this being the best time to sell a house in years. But the same thing applies to cars. Whether you're looking to buy a car, trade in, or sell that car in the driveway collecting dust, Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville wants to buy your car. They have 2 on-site managers that work with Kelley Blue Book to give you top dollar for your vehicle. You can even have your car appraised instantly at AndersonNissan.com. Stop in and visit them today at 629 Brevard Road in Asheville or call them at 828-365-1663.
The Sportsocracy.
The ceiling is the roof. Let's make it happen. Let's keep moving forward.
Welcome back into the Ingles Studio on ESPN Asheville. Follow us at the Sportsocracy on all of the social medias, and we're in the midst of the daily draft. Jeremy kicked it off with his most important person of the divisional round of the playoffs, Joe Burrow. And then I took the other quarterback in that game. It's Josh Allen. And then Nick Sirianni, head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. He could be the thing that causes them to fall on their faces against NFC East rival, the New York Giants. Next most important person, Jeremy?
Dak Prescott.
Very
if
good
he's
choice.
not what we saw last week, I don't think they have a chance. This defense is just different.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I was all aboard the Cowboy hype train last week. I'm not telling you can't win this week, but it has to look really similar. And that defense just got exponentially more difficult to do that against. You're not going to trick DeMeco Ryans the way you tricked Todd Bowles. You had a habitual – Todd Bowles has a habit of basing every decision he makes off what you've done in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how they fooled them. Just like I said on the goal line. They had run that formation 27 times. It had gone to a running back between the guards 27 times. So what's Todd Bowles do? Sails out between the guards. Kellen Moore knew that. He knew exactly what he's going to do before he did it. You're not going to get that with DeMeco Ryans. This is going to have to be hat on a hat, Jimmy on a Joe. You're going to have to beat them.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you can or not, we shall see. But it all falls in the lap of Dak Prescott.
All right, pick number 3.
This one's going to sound a little strange when I say it because he might be the quarterback that's asked to do the least. It's Daniel Jones. And this is not, I need you to be X, Y, or Z. I need you not to be the guy that you've been for the last 3 years. I need you to not get harassed by this Eagle offense or defensive line, because this is one of the best fronts in all of football. They're going to get after you. The question is, what do you do when it happens? Can you elude it, which I've seen you do a lot of this year? Can you elude it? Can you just go down? Can you get rid of the football? Or are you going to turn into that fumbling nightmare that you've been over the last 3 years? And if that happens, you'll get blown out of the water. I think Brian Daboll has coached that out of him. That could be the number one thing I say in this show that comes back to look really stupid come Monday.
Yep. Interesting you went with Daniel Jones.
Are you going with a teammate of his?
I am going with I'm actually going to cheat here. I'm going with two of his teammates. It's Andrew Thomas and Evan Neal. The Philadelphia Eagles, as was said earlier in this program, 70 sacks on the season. They are going to get after these guys. Now, they're great. Evan Neal has had a better rookie season than I expected him to have.
I don't know if I go that far. He's been a little inconsistent, and he really struggled last week.
Andrew Thomas, since moving to the left side, has been really, really good.
All pro level.
Yes, but you got to be on your A game because Philadelphia is going to bring the hellhounds. Maybe not quite as frequently or as successfully as the Buffalo Bills are probably going to do against that Swiss cheese offensive line of the Cincinnati Bengals, but they are going to test these guys at every turn. Because Saquon is obviously a great weapon, but he can't do it all.
No.
Daniel has to be on his game.
And that's the reason I didn't take Saquon Barkley. I feel like I know what I'm going to get out of him. They're going to lean on him. You're not going to see an 11-touch week like you did last week. If you do, they're going to get smoked. It's a formidable choice.
The New York Giants tackles they are my third most important persons in this divisional round. And then, I know it's cliche, but I got to go with another quarterback. And it's Trevor Lawrence. If you're going to have any shot at beating the Kansas City Chiefs, I need to see second half Trevor Lawrence and none of first half Trevor Lawrence from their game against the Los Angeles Chargers. The first half could not have gone worse for the Jacksonville Jaguars. 5 turnovers in that first half. And then what happened? I don't know what magical words Doug Peterson came up with at halftime, but they came out hair on fire in the second half, were able to chip away and eventually come back to win that game after being down 27 points. I need to see second half Trevor Lawrence. You want to cement this whole narrative that you've turned the corner? I'm going to need to see – I don't need to see mistake-free football. Think you got room to play with a turnover or two maybe. You cannot have more than that. And your team have a chance to beat the Kansas City Chiefs.
You and I have been in quite lockstep through this draft because this will be the third time that we have taken persons in the same game in the same round. As I agree with everything you just said. But for me, that doesn't fall back on Trevor. It's what you said about halftime.
Yep. Doug.
Doug. Doug Peterson is probably one of a handful of people in this entire organization that have ever been this far before. Yes, they brought in a lot of free agents. Look where those free agents came from. There's not much playoff experience on this roster. And so I feel like somebody has to be the stabilizing force. Because last week, it felt like every player on that team came out tense, came out tight, and next thing you know, you're down 27-0. The good thing is they laid down like an old dog next to the radiator and let you come back. Kansas City's not going to do that.
No.
Here's another part of this that I think it's an interesting little part of this, if it may not have a whole lot to do with anything. Doug Peterson knows Andy Reid really well. Not saying I could see a path that he has a pretty good idea where this game plan is going to go. May not be able to do anything about it. But I feel like if anybody could beat Andy Reid in the playoffs right now at home, it's probably Doug Peterson.
Well, first and foremost, you got to figure out a way to neutralize Travis Kelce. And I don't know that you can do that.
There's not – Andre Sisco is going to try his best, but you're not going to neutralize him. Kansas City is one of those teams you have to go in knowing. Travis Kelce's he is going to catch 6 passes in this game. He's going to have 80-plus yards, and he's probably going to score a touchdown. The question is, can we stop him from having 11, a buck 40, and 3? Because I'm not really all that scared of anybody else, and that's one of the biggest deficiencies of the Jaguars. They have Tyson Campbell. In the message, repeat the line. And then you get into Darius Williams, who's not a bad corner. He's just little. Well, so are a lot of those receivers for Kansas City. So I don't know if schematically this is as big of a mismatch as a lot of people have made it out to be.
Okay. All right. Doug Peterson. And then?
Well, I hate to go coaches back-to-back, but there is one coach that I've already talked about, and I do feel like he is one of the most impactful coaches of the weekend. It's Wink Martindale. If there's anybody that can come up with a scheme that can make Jalen Hurts look like he looked in the playoffs last year, I'm not sure that it's not Wink Martindale. And I think that's why I'm so confident that the Giants are going to cover. Because I could easily see you seeing some very exotic schemes out of the Giants, and they have a lot of pieces. A lot of them are young pieces. Could they get burned doing it? Absolutely. If you told me any team in the playoffs was down 21-0 in the first quarter, I'll bet my house it's the Giants. But that would mean everything backfired. I'm not so sure that's the way it's going to go. This is why when you hire a veteran or when you hire a rookie coach, you go get the veteran to pair him with. I think Brian Daboll is a brilliant offensive mind. It is not an accident that of the rookie coaches, the one that's left in the playoffs is the one that has Wink Martindale with him. So teams that have an opening, maybe learn from that.
My final pick, I understand why you didn't do this. I understand why you didn't take him. Because we've already said we don't need him to be special.
Oh, I know where this is going.
Well, you should. Because it's the one guy in these playoffs among all that I don't think any of us can truly say we believe in him. It's Mr. Irrelevant, rock dirty, Brock Purdy. I don't need him to come out and throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns and be Mr. Superhuman. But what I do need him to do is take care of the football.
You need him to not melt down and not have those close, tight window throws that he's been making on a very routine basis go the wrong way.
Exactly. Now, he hasn't thrown more than an interception in any game this season. In fact, he has only thrown 4 picks all year long. Or, well, since
5.
He became the starter.
I thought it was 5. I could be wrong.
I'm looking at it, and it's 4.
Okay.
It's 4. Look, can they win without him being special? Absolutely. Can they win if he turns the ball over 2 or 3 times? Maybe. If he has full, complete rookie meltdown, you got nowhere to turn. He's your guy. And I don't know that they can overcome that. You don't want to give Dallas too much momentum in this game because they can seize on it. And Brock Purdy can make your entire game plan seize up if he can't take care of the football. Don't think it's going to happen, but he is, no doubt to me, one of the most important persons in this divisional round of the playoffs. We'll have the most important message of the day, plus your picks, our official picks for the games, coming up next here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Next weather maker pulls into the Carolinas up from the Gulf of Mexico, bringing some half-inch rains to the late weekend forecast ahead. Our temps tonight down in the mid-20s. Those northwest winds make it feel like January is back. Partly cloudy Saturday, high 52, low 35. Half-inch rain Sunday, cool high 43. Low Sunday night down to 32 with some light wintry weather in the mountains. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Driving slow, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and US 1923 exit 3. An accident on the left shoulder in this stretch. 26 on the westbound side slow near Hendersonville Road. Again, 26 westbound slowing west of Airport Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway. 40 westbound delays near Hendersonville Road. 40 westbound again slow near George's Branch Road. Haywood County, 40 westbound crawling between NC 209 and US 276. I'm Lyndon Field with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. Taco Bell has $2 grilled chicken burritos that come in 2 bold flavors, Chipotle Ranch and Salsa Verde. They're bursting with grilled chicken and delicious sauces. Get your $2 grilled chicken burrito at participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last. Price and participation vary. Tax extra.
And now for today's Roblox winter weather alert. iHeartland on Roblox has been walloped by a winter snowstorm. It is a winter wonderland. You can now ice skate at State Farm Park. In State Farm Neighborhood, you can compete in snowball fights, grab a hot cocoa and cookies, and more. There's also special events from your favorite artists and podcasters all month, along with scavenger hunts, exclusive content, and unique items. So enjoy the festive winter weather at iHeartland on Roblox. Head to iHeartRadio.com/iHeartland today.
Since man created roads, they've been looking for ways to get off-road and vehicles to take them there. That's where Outlaw Off-Road comes in. A premier off-road center for Jeeps, trucks, and SUVs with a complete lineup of off-road and overland services, including maintenance and repair to make your vehicle all that it can be. Check out their location right here in Western North Carolina at 85 Avery Creek Road. Call them today at 828-974-8480 or visit them on the web at theoutlawoffroad.com.
When I finally drove the old car into the grave, I knew there was only one place I was going to go. Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville, home of the family plan. And yes, they treat you like family. I went in, told them what I was looking for, told them my budget, and in no time, I was signing the paperwork on my certified pre-owned vehicle. They have the area's largest selection on quality pre-owned vehicles and certified Nissans. They go through a 167-point inspection, so you know it's not going to let you down. They gave me the Carfax report, so I know the history of my vehicle. And the Fred Anderson family plan gives me things like oil changes and car washes and loaner cars if I have to have major work done on the car in the future. For me, buying a car has always been an intimidating thought. But the folks at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville made it super easy. Don't be like me. Don't wait till the last minute to get a deal done. Go to AndersonNissan.com or stop by the showroom at 629 Brevard Road. And don't forget to mention we sent you from the Sportsocracy and get a $250 bonus on your trade-in at Fred Anderson Nissan of Asheville.
At Ingles Weather, we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park. It's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy. It's time for the most important message of the day, Jeremy Greene.
Don't do crimes!
Yeah, this one comes to us from California. We're going to go to Fresno for this one, where there was a major operation of 2 gangs that got together and they hatched a plan to commit a robbery. Police say there were 15 guys involved in the robbery of this certain establishment. That's a lot. All of the, all of the warrants went out for the guys that they believe were involved in this. They've already made 8 arrests, and they're on the lookout for 7 more individuals. Here's the thing. If I told you 15 heavily armed gang members were targeting a business, what would you think? What would you think they're robbing?
A bank.
A bank's a good one. Jewelry store, maybe like a Cartier diamonds or something. You need the guys to undo the vault and all that kind of stuff. These guys went heavily armed into the Habib Tea Hookah Lounge and proceeded to beat people savagely and rob them at gunpoint.
Doesn't feel like a heavily cash-involved business.
No, it really doesn't. And look, you can say I'm profiling on this one, but I don't think the people going to a hookah lounge would really be the kind that carried around a whole bunch of cash.
What are you, a cop?
Look, I'm not a cop. Not a cop.
I've frequented a hookah lounge or two.
Have you?
Oh, yeah.
I can't see you in a hookah lounge.
I like a hookah.
Hmm.
If for nothing else, just because it's fun to say. Hookah.
You know, this is hookah, not hookah, which is completely different.
Oh.
This is the one where you sit around and you smoke tobacco out of a giant pipe.
I knew that.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure we were talking about the same thing here. I feel like this was just completely overkill. And the fact that nobody got killed is a saving grace of this story.
All right, I'm going to tell you a story. And from the jump, I'm going to tell you that this story is about the owner of a professional sports franchise.
Okay.
And I want to see if you can tell me who it is without me telling you.
Okay.
There's an owner that is now being litigated against because he is using facial recognition software in his establishments. And he owns more than just the stadiums of his franchise. Now you might ask, why would you do that? Because he is kicking out people who are involved with law firms that are actively litigating against him, including kicking one woman out because she worked at a firm that was suing him. Now, what does that woman do? She's the receptionist. She doesn't practice law in this particular state.
No.
And so now this owner is being sued in 4 states for his use of this, as it was said by a judge, stupidest thing ever equipment to keep people that condemn him out of his establishment. Who do you think I'm talking about?
Is this the owner of the Timberwolves?
No.
I was just trying to think of somebody who's been sued.
Alex Rodriguez is one of the owners of the Timberwolves. No. This is a very high profile owner in a very high profile city that I have condemned many times. I'll give you one more hint and it will tell you exactly who it is.
Okay.
I used to pull for this team. I tapped out because I hate this owner this badly.
Old shake and bake Jimmy Dolan.
That would be Jim Dolan. He has been using this in Madison Square Garden, Radio City Music Hall, and other different establishments that he is involved with. Part of the litigation against him is from his shareholders who have sued him to argue the fact that he spent $900 million on the MSG networks was an overpay. Tell me you're a dumpster fire without telling me you're a dumpster fire.
Mm-hmm.
Your shareholders sued you because you spent too much money on something intertwined with your organization. Make him sell this team. He is the absolute worst. They're removing people from Knick games that have. This is how deep this goes. If you've said anything against the Knicks and Jim Dolan on Twitter, they're loading your face into facial recognition to send security to come talk to you.
Oh, wow.
That's like Big Brother kind of nonsense.
That's hashtag birds aren't real.
How in the world anybody could support this team, I don't know. I grew up loving this team.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can't even watch them on television without laughing.
And I'm surprised you lasted with them as long as you did.
I am very loyal. I'm a 30-year Jets fan.
Mm-hmm.
It's not losing that gets me. I didn't necessarily know it was going to get this bad. I knew it was going to get bad with Jim Dolan.
Mm-hmm.
When he kicked Charles Oakley out of Madison Square Garden, that's when I went, I'm out.
And then the Spike
Lee thing
You will
never get
happened.
not another penny from me.
Yeah. Wow. All right, that's your that's your don't do crimes. Just it's the most important message of the day. It's a lot of fun every day, making sure that you don't do crimes.
And now it's time for the best part of waking up. It's Bakers, baby, for the divisional playoffs.
All your best bets for the divisional playoffs. We will stake our claims on these games, and, may the best Jeremy win. Because
Jeremy can actually lock up the playoffs this weekend.
Yes.
All I have to do is not lose. We can all tie, and you cannot beat me because I beat you both by 3 full games last week.
That's right. It was, what? Two and 4 outings for me and the Chief, and 4 and 2 for you. Or 5-1 for you. That's right, because you had the Dallas game.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, how about them Cowboys? All right, first game, 4:30 tomorrow afternoon. Kansas City Chiefs hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Kansas City is a 9-point favorite. I went through every iteration possible in my mind to try to figure out how the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to come within 9 points of the Kansas City Chiefs.
I have one.
I feel like there's a 4% chance of that happening. Just pulling a number out of thin air, because 10% seems too high for me. I like this team, but they're not there. You're too young. You're not going to be able to. I don't believe Doug Peterson is going to be able to outcoach Andy Reid, and I don't think Trevor's going to be able to outperform Patrick Mahomes, because that's the only path for them to win, in my opinion.
The only thing that scares me in this game is the possibility that you get a backdoor cover late. That's about the only way I see Kansas City not being the right side. I mean, look, I want this game to be competitive, and I know Kansas City doesn't historically just blow teams out of the water often. It does happen. I just feel like in the playoffs, this is a very vet Kansas City team. This is a lot of Jaguar players that last week was their first experience in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're going on the road where they haven't been good in the first place. You mix that with the fact you're going up against Andy Reid. There's no telling what he's going to pull out of the bag of tricks. And I can't unsee that first half from Trevor Lawrence. He had 4 interceptions in a half.
Mm-hmm. And there's part of me also feels like they don't need this, but there's also a chip on the shoulder of the Kansas City Chiefs, who have heard all season long that they're not going to be the same team as they were with Tyreek Hill. And they've heard all season long people like me and Jeremy, I'll lump myself into this, discounting them as, they're just the third best team in the AFC. Oh, really? Because 4 straight trips to the AFC Championship game tells me I'm better than the Buffalo Bills. And they're not going to lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Frankly, I don't know that they can be stopped by anybody on the way to the Super Bowl. So I got Kansas City minus the 9.
Asheville Police Chief Zack and I are with you.
Mm-hmm.
We're both on Kansas City minus the 9. I think Kansas City is vulnerable. I've said it all year long, but this is not the team that's going to get them. I think it's whoever wins. It's Cincinnati, Buffalo, especially now that if it's Buffalo, that's going to be played in Atlanta. That does change things. I don't see a path. Short of the backdoor cover, I don't see a way. Now our reprehensibles have taken the Jaguars plus the 9.
Wow. 8:15 tomorrow night in Philadelphia. The Eagles taking on the New York Giants. Philadelphia is a 7.5-point favorite. That's a lot of points.
I can tell you that Asheville Police Chief Zack and I do not agree on this game.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of points. However, I'm not getting hoodwinked like I did with the college football playoff. The national championship game, I was all on the upstart team, that little scrappy little underdog that's going to keep the game close. I'm not doing it. I got Philly minus the 7.5. It's a lot of points, sure, but I just think there are so many ways that Philadelphia can flex on this New York Giants team.
You agree with Asheville Police Chief Zack. because I'm taking the New York Giants plus the 7.5.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not telling you they win. I just think this game is going to be really close. I always tend to take teams that can run a lot to cover numbers because the clock just keeps winding. I don't think this is a high-scoring game regardless.
Mm-hmm.
I see no path this is a shootout. This strikes me as more of a 17-13 Philadelphia. It looks really vulnerable, and we talk about it for a full week with them going up against the 49ers or the Dallas Cowboys. But I'm taking the Giants. I'm taking the Giants plus 7.5.
Mm-hmm.
If it was 6.5, I probably wouldn't. But at 7.5, I feel pretty good about that.
If I had to guess the final score for this game, I'm going 27-14. Philadelphia wins. It's not like it's going to be a massive blowout. I just think it's never going to be really in doubt. I don't think the Giants' defense is going to be able to get home. The offensive line is complete once again with Lane Johnson back. To me, it's just an advantage for the Philadelphia Eagles. You are in the Sportsocracy. It is ESPN Asheville. We got 2 games to go. We'll pick the Sunday games next.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is stop and go 240 westbound between Chuns Cove Road and Montford Avenue. In the stretch, an accident at Charlotte Street on the left shoulder. 26 westbound slow between Airport Road and Bavard Road. 40 westbound near George's Branch Road. Light delays. Haywood County 40 westbound crawling between NC 209 and US 276. Checking the drive time from Biltmore Forest to Fletcher via Hendersonville Road southbound. Drive time 15 minutes. I'm Lyndon Field with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. Taco Bell has $2 grilled chicken burritos that come in 2 bold flavors, Chipotle Ranch and Salsa Verde. They're bursting with grilled chicken and delicious sauces. Get your $2 grilled chicken burrito at participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only, while supplies last. Price and participation vary. Tax extra.
Hey, this is Peter Schrager from the NFL Network's morning show, Good Morning Football. You've also seen me on NFL Sidelines and in studio for Fox Sports on Sunday. Well, I've got a new podcast with iHeart in the NFL, and we're calling it The Season with Peter Schrager. In each episode of this season, I'm going to empty my proverbial notebook and take you inside and behind the scenes on the conversations that happen at the highest levels of NFL franchises. Listen to The Season with Peter Schrager on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Meet Joe A,
Hi.
Joe B,
Hello,
and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with Autosave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect, support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Sports leagues are chock full of winners and losers.
Correct.
And I'm happy to call myself a loser because in a year, I've lost more than 90 pounds with the PhD weight loss program. It was last Thanksgiving week that met with Dr. Ashley Lucas. She told us this is the program to see great results. And she was not lying. More than 90 pounds down, I feel like a brand new Tank Spencer.
I did not have 90 pounds to lose, but I had gotten a little chunky. My food decisions had become very lazy, and I was causing some problems. I wasn't sleeping well. My knees hurt. Just over a year on this program, I'm back to my high school weight, sleeping like a baby, and everything's back to hunky-dunky, and it's all thanks to the plan and program of PhD Weight Loss.
It's the easiest program I've ever been on. They give you 80% of the food you need to have success, and you will just be amazed. I am proof positive that it can change your life and help you win that battle with your weight once and for all. Go to myphdweightloss.com. It's myphdweightloss.com.
Did you know Ingles only sells USDA Choice and Prime cuts of meat? Our butchers cut all our meat fresh in the store every day. We'll even cut it to order just the way you like it. It's all in the bag. Ingles. Low prices. Love the savings.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Zack with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
The Sportsocracy.
Let's open up the whole can of kick-ass and kill them all. Let the paramedics sort them out.
Saturday's going to be fun. Saturday's going to be the little appetizer for the matchups on Sunday, because both of these are, to me, heavyweight title fights.
So far, all three of us are on Kansas City minus the 9. The Reprehensibles took the Jaguars plus the 9. You and Asheville Police Chief Zack are on Philadelphia minus 7.5. Me and the Reprehensibles are on the Giants plus 7.5.
Indeed, always take the underdog with the, they got a chance to keep it close, and that's a big number. So I get it. I was almost there with you, but I think Philadelphia is going to turn it on in that game. At 3 o'clock on Sunday afternoon, we'll have the kickoff of the first game of the day between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Buffalo Bills.
I can tell you, we're dead split on this game. The Reprehensibles went with one of us, and two of us agree.
Buffalo is a 5.5-point favorite, and I'll go first. I just think that's too many points. I feel like Cincinnati is going to be in this game. It'll come down to the end. It may be a backdoor cover. They may be down by 10 with, 5 minutes to go, and they have to, get that last score, try to get the onside kick, do something special, and in the end, it's going to be Joe Burrow laying on his back staring at the stars. I think the Buffalo Bills are going to win, but Cincinnati keeps it close, so I'm taking the Bengals plus the 5.5.
Take my deep breath. Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills, and that's why I'm taking the Cincinnati Bengals plus the 5.5 to cover the number, but I'm taking Buffalo to win.
Okay.
Asheville Police Chief Zack is in Buffalo and has the Bills minus the 5.5, as does the House of Reprehensibles. See what I did there? A little bait and switch.
That's very nice. Very nice. All right, so we're in lockstep. At least you and I are in lockstep on Cincinnati plus the 5.5. And then San Francisco against the Dallas Cowboys.
This was the most overwhelming from the Reprehensibles. San Francisco minus the 4.
Mm-hmm. I'm right there with them.
I'm right there with them.
San Francisco minus the 4. Did Chief go with us on San Francisco? I know. Oh.
He is on the Dallas Cowboys plus the 4.
Oh, doggy afuera.
Oh, yeah.
No, don't do that.
Look, when he sent me his picks earlier, I went, you were so close. It was just, you missed it by that much.
Hey, and you never know. But I feel like it's going to take a miracle. I think it'll take a miracle for Dallas to lose this game closely.
Oh, I'm not there. I'm not there at all. To me, this game comes down to who do I believe more in? Kyle Shanahan, D'Amico Ryans, and Brock Purdy. Or Mike McCarthy, Dan Quinn, and Dak Prescott. I win 2 of those just going away. And I don't feel like the third is going to be asked to do enough to beat you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this is the game where you see the limitations of Brock Purdy. I really don't.
Yeah.
I am almost as confident that San Francisco wins this game as I was last week that Dallas was going to shellac the Buccaneers. I can genuinely say I am not that confident that they're going to cover this number. I weighed this one more than I wanted to.
Really?
Because if it had been 2.5, it would have been easy.
Mm-hmm.
Giving up that field goal, that one scares me.
This is one that I don't think is going to be all that close.
I think it might be the best game of the weekend.
I think San Francisco wins it in a walk, but that's just me. You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. We, of course, will be back with you on Monday to recap all of the weekend action at 3 in the Ingles Studio. We'll see you then.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Next weather maker pulls into the Carolinas up from the Gulf of Mexico, bringing some half-inch rains to the late weekend forecast ahead. Our temps tonight down in the mid-20s. Those northwest winds make it feel like January is back. Partly cloudy Saturday, high 52, low 35. Half-inch rain Sunday, cool high 43. Low Sunday night down to 32 with some light wintry weather in the mountains. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic time ago, 240 westbound between Chuns Cove Road and Montford Avenue. An accident at Merriman Avenue in this stretch does have the shoulder blocked. 26 westbound is slow between Long Shoals Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 40 westbound crawling in Haywood County between NC 209 and US 276. Checking the drive time from Swannanoa to Asheville via 40 westbound and 240 westbound. Drive time 18 minutes. I'm Lee Binfield with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. Taco Bell has $2 grilled chicken burritos that come in 2 bold flavors.